Before the chaos, there is quiet. Before 6,598 players compete for poker's most important title, the tournament rooms are empty. No players, no dealers, no stories. The only thing that fills the room is hope.
There's always that aspirational goal and that dream of just playing in a World Series of Poker.
I know people that strive their whole life to play this poker tournament. It's very special.
Then there is madness. Players go broke while chip leaders emerge.
It's the one tournament that every poker player dreams of winning.
The quiet is gone. The chaos is here. The World Series of Poker Main Event is back. Welcome to the World Series of Poker Main Event, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran. With Norm and Chad, we're back in Las Vegas for the 43rd edition of poker's most prestigious tournament. Here on day 3, the field is already under 2,000.
Day 3, boys. Time to roll today.
I got a tough player on my left, so I'm thinking let's get through this without giving all my chips to Vanessa.
Ben Lamb has to be worried about tablemate Vanessa Selbst. She won her second bracelet this year.
Never had as many chips in the main event before.
We got Negreanu on the featured table right now. We got about 200K. We got to bust him today, baby.
Gaelle Baumann leads the field with over 500,000 chips.
Ooh la la.
Jason Mercier is a threat regardless of chips.
It's the main event, buddy. You should have shaved.
Defending champ Pius Hines has made it to day 3.
But he's 23 years old now, over the hill.
For the first time in history, a woman leads day 3. We'll get a closer look tonight at Gerardo Lubis. He sits in 6th place. Earlier, the third member of our broadcast team, Kara Scott, caught up with Daniel Negreanu.
It's deja vu all over again. Day 3 of the main event. We had Daniel Negreanu here last year as well on day 3. This time you have more chips. Talk to us about what this day 3 will be for you.
Well, this day 3 is probably going to be pretty tough. There's some tough players at the table, so the first few hours is really just about figuring them out, what they're planning on doing. But really it's about maintaining, because I've got enough chips now to get through to day 4 and burst that money bubble. So I really just don't want to screw up, basically.
Have you had a look at your table? Is there anyone there that kind of concerns you at all?
Well, there's one guy who knows me very well, Ice Cream Mike. I've been playing with him for 20 years or something like that. And then also Matt Woodward, who's a guy I've played online with in the past. So 2 really tough players. And Matt has a ton of chips right on my left, which kind of sucks for me, but you know, we'll see what we can do with it.
Okay, we're going to be following you closely. Thanks so much.
Oh, no worries.
This is how Daniel's table looks tonight. Matt Woodward, a formidable opponent on Daniel's left, as he said, but Negreanu with over 170 big blinds.
Negreanu cashed in last year's main event, but looking for a much deeper run this time around.
Robert Peltecki, the Turkish-born jeweler, might give Daniel a run for his money in the table talk department.
A jeweler who plays poker. I guess diamonds are his favorite suit.
Remember the days when we were the youngest at the table?
Back in the day,
Every single table we ever went to, eh?
Hey,
Eh?
back in the days.
Oh, God. Like, by like 20 years.
Yeah, I've been playing with you for 20 years, right?
About that.
20 years.
No, but we were
You're holding
the
up
youngest.
pretty good.
I am. But we were the youngest at the table by 20 years. Like, everybody at the table was at least 40 or 45 or 50 or 55 or 60.
He got up to our age, Lon.
Ice Cream Mike, 41-year-old Mike Haliwa, also has Toronto roots like Daniel. Peltecki open raise to 3,800 with ace-7 of spades. Pull it around to Daniel Negreanu. Daniel with ace-10 of hearts on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam.
Guys, I don't normally wear deodorant, but for this special occasion, you have to do it.
Thanks for that.
Negreanu called, as did Ryan Daniel to his left.
Final table, I definitely won't wear deodorant. If I make it that far, I'll know to wear it, I guess.
And suddenly deodorant becomes poker's next big issue.
So Daniel, Negreanu, and Peltecki. We'll see the flop of king 9, 8, 2 hearts. Ryan Daniel still best with his 4s. He checks, but he's not favored. Peltecki bets 10,000. Daniel Negreanu now favored with his nut flush draw and 2 overs to the 4s.
This year's field, 6,598 players, just a tad less than last year's 6,865, still the 5th largest in main event history.
Negreanu called, Ryan Daniel folds.
And then I promise I don't play against you today because
You promised yourself that? Too late.
Negreanu turns the nut flush. Peltecki checks his gut shot.
Peltecki should have kept his promise.
But he is involved with 4-time bracelet winner Daniel Negreanu. Negreanu bets 18-5.
Peltecki appears to be dressed for a Turkish flea market / disco night.
No chance I was setting you up?
You're setting me up?
Yeah, no chance of that?
Absolutely.
There is, right?
There's always a chance.
Yeah, I had the flush draw. Checked
I don't
like
buy
I had
it.
nothing.
I don't think you did, but
Really?
no. I think you're just trying to steal it.
You're right.
So this is called, well, I can't say.
Peltecki does not appear to have a strong hand at this point.
Should I just bluff and shove?
You want to do that?
You know I do that. I could do that for you.
We're not even close to the money yet.
I'm going to let you have it this time.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, he has it.
Next time I shove on you, you know.
Yeah. I would have been okay with you doing it this time.
Is it good enough?
yeah.
So you were semi-bluffing on the flop.
No, the ace was good.
Good start for Daniel, gathering chips.
Oh, nice.
Here we are on day 3 of the 2012 main event. And Norman, this marks a full decade of main event coverage that we have worked together. I got to say, happy 10th anniversary.
6 of the best years of my life.
Well, when we first started covering the World Series of Poker main event, Kid Poker, Daniel Negreanu, was actually a kid at 27 years old. Now 37, he still has that engaging personality, but is teetering on the edge of old school. And he's just one of nearly 2,000 players left on day 3, still dreaming of gold.
Dreams are what the main event are made of. Anyone can enter, anyone can win. So whether you're Daniel Negreanu or Antonio Esfandiari or a name out of the West Virginia white pages, you can put your money down and hope you'll make the final table, and you just might. That's what makes the main event so special. Here's to 10 more, Lon.
At our secondary featured table with over 200,000 chips, Antonio Esfandiari.
What you did for your dad. That's what I did for my dad before he passed away. I gave him one of those.
For Antonio, giving his dad the big 1-for-1 drop bracelet was icing on an $18 million cake.
Dad, can you come over here? Because this bracelet is for you.
I remember when the turn card came that these are my favorite glasses. And I remember thinking, okay, if I dodge the river, everyone's gonna like go nuts, all my friends. So I gotta take my glasses. You can see on the tape, I take my glasses off and I put them on the table. I'm like, just miss the river one time.
I believe Antonio is now on a free roll for the rest of his life.
World Series of Poker main event? Holy no?
All right, here we go. Welcome to day 3, pocket sixes for Antonio.
If Antonio wins the main event, it's only $8 million, so that might be a letdown.
He raised a $3,500. Antonio wearing the same shirt, too. I guess no time to shop. That's a big deposit he had to make. Gerardo Lubis, known to his friends as Jay, with Queen 10 of diamonds and the white shirt on the left, makes the call from the small blind. Big blind fold, so heads up. Antonio here in an early pot on day 3, and welcome to day 3, Antonio style. He flops a set. Lubis checks middle pair.
Well, Antonio's run good must have an Energizer battery.
Antonio at 6,100.
Lubis, a 40-year-old Filipino pro who lives in Manila.
Not scared off so quickly. He makes the call. Antonio sees the queen of clubs. Lubis may like that. It gives him queens up, but he's still a 10-to-1 dog. Lubis checked. Antonio with 14,300 now.
Yeah, it was a nasty flop for Lubis, and now it just gets nastier here. He could lose a bundle.
14-3.
Queens and 10s for Lubis.
And a call. Antonio thinking, thank you, thank you, thank you. River card. King of spades, no help to Lubis. He checks it.
And it looks like Antonio's not worried about the possibility that Lubis could have made Broadway on the river.
Yeah, you and I checked there, Norman, but Antonio goes after value. Lubis started this hand with the biggest stack at the table.
If I'm Lubis, I got to think queens up might be good here.
There's the call. No, not against Antonio. Esfandiari out of the gate quickly.
Nathan, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Antonio Esfandiari, and I win pots.
It's always good to flop a set on the first hand.
How do you do that?
Well, if that first hand is an omen, Antonio is going places in this main event. This is day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event, and that is the bracelet everyone is chasing. Days 1 and 2 overflowed the halls of the Rio. Jonathan Duhamel busted early, as did high-stakes legends Tom Dwan and Phil Ivey. Meanwhile, players found all kinds of ways to entertain themselves. That's probably not Toby Maguire in there, but Seinfeld's Jason Alexander was here.
If you love the game, I love the game. If you love the people that play it, and I tend to love the people that play it, it's the best place to play it in the world.
Fighter George St. Pierre got him started. Actor Ray Romano hit the exits early, but cricket star Shane Warne is still in with Liz Hurley by his side. 04 champ Greg Raymer bid a quick farewell, as did Vanessa Russo, Annette Oberstadt, Joe Hashem, Phil Hellmuth, and Phil Locke.
See you guys. See you good. Phil.
Ladies still in it are Elizabeth Hill.
Hello.
Maria Ho.
Hello.
And Liv Boeree.
Hello.
I'm so excited to be here. I played my ass off all day, if I can say that. I'm feeling super confident. I haven't been playing this well for a long time, so it's good.
Last year's runner-up Martin Stashko was knocked out, but checked out the champ, Pius Hines. And there's two-time champ Johnny Chan sitting with chips.
That's a great sight.
Bracelet winner Jason Somerville has 350,000 reasons to smile.
Then why isn't he smiling?
November 9er Joseph Chung also has over 300K.
With 500K, he gets a haircut.
Gavin Smith looking to bring home his second bracelet.
I thought he never goes home. He loves to party.
And that's Pius Hines, last year's champ. He has work to do with under 30 big blinds.
If he goes back-to-back, I will swim the Danube River buck naked.
I'm rooting for anybody but Pius. At an outer table, elbow to elbow, Ben Lamb and Vanessa Selbst are squaring off. With the river card out, Lamb just raised to 46,200 with a jack-high flush. Action on Vanessa.
What a ton of young poker talent side by side. Ben Lamb staring down Vanessa, but she is stone-faced.
Selbst won her second World Series bracelet this summer now. Maybe trying to steal some chips from Ben Lamb. And Vanessa, as she loves to do, with a re-raise to over 150,000.
Wow. Ben sitting there with a jack-high flush. Now has to wonder if Vanessa has a better flush or a full house.
But Vanessa just has a pair of sevens with the fives on board. Ben Lamb getting Ben Lamb'd. And he folds.
Wow, Lamb lays down the best hand. Vanessa Selbst, as is often the case, benefits from her aggression.
Ben is still running like Ben Lamb. He just doesn't know it. Vanessa Selbst, almost 400,000 chips. Ben Lamb, just over 200,000.
Lamb might have the worst seat in the room with Selbst on his left.
All right, so Vanessa Selbst playing aggressive poker, stacking chips, 4 different colored chips. Here's what they're worth. The black is 100, the light blue 500, the yellow's worth 1,000. The biggest chip in play right now, the orange, worth 5,000. Back to the feature table now. Daniel Negreanu second in chips at this table with nearly 322,000. Action on Daniel now with pocket aces.
If you know how to do it, it's okay.
If you know how to do it, yeah.
An early position, a raise to 3,600.
See, Daniel can raise with pocket aces and talk at the same time. Not sure if he can also chew gum while doing that.
He is building quite an IMDb resume, appearing in various films and TV shows and music videos.
What kind of dogs you got?
Folded to the big blind, Marco Ruggeri.
The best thing ever. When I left him at home.
What kind of dog is it again?
Chihuahua.
Both of them?
He makes it stick to the wall.
No.
Yeah. I came home, I'm like, how did you do that?
Ruggeri calls.
Like up on the wall.
Does your dog talk?
No, not really.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Daniel, if you follow his tweets and his video log, it's just a little too much information.
And there's a set for Daniel Negreanu. His opponent, Ruggeri, missed.
6 months ago.
Gary, 31-year-old poker pro, checks.
Well, Daniel will sit on a set of aces, slow play the monster, and hope Ruggeri gets out of line.
Ruggeri picks up a Broadway draw. Looks like he wants to lead out.
Oh, this is exactly what Negreanu was looking for.
4,200.
Ruggeri does bluff at it. He does have a gut shot now, and Daniel's going to pick up chips he might not have gotten if he had bet the flop.
Daniel just with a call.
He'll slow play it again, hoping Ruggeri takes another stab at the pot on the river.
River card. Oh, the jack. Yeah, Ruggeri's going to stick around. That's Broadway. Runner, runner, straight. 10,005 from Ruggeri.
Daniel loves that bet of 10,005. That he's going to lose more than 10,005 chips here.
Yeah, Daniel wondering how much will Ruggeri call. There's a raise to 31,500.
And now it's too good to be true for Marco Ruggeri. How much can he re-raise with the nuts that Daniel will call?
Welcome to the main event. Boy, the landmines you have to dodge to make it through. It's just amazing.
All in.
All in.
Count it. I'm probably playing, but I want to count. Bro, if he has queen 10, that'd be sick. I can't buy it. I guess he could. It'd be a pretty ugly beat. 31.5. I don't see myself folding, but man, really, queen 10? Pretty sick.
It's 31.5.
And he's got like 20. I got it.
It's got about 73, 72 in there.
I call.
Ouch.
Straight.
Ruggeri doubles up.
I mean, you know those days when it's really sunny with clear blue skies, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it rains? That's Daniel Negreanu's weather at this feature table.
Wow. What happened on the turn?
He bet I called. Figured he's drawn pretty dead. So.
Ruggeri cracks not just the pocket aces, the set of aces held by Daniel. He's up to almost 230,000. Daniel loses more than a third of his chips. Tough beat for Negreanu. Here to shed some light on Daniel's slow play are Phil Locke and Antonio Esfandiari, who will host our pro analysis segments this season. Gentlemen.
It's like a dagger in the heart, that last card. Daniel chose to slow play, and well,
that was a pretty brutal hand. I mean, in my personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of the slow play, but sometimes it's justified. And in this particular case, he had position against his opponent. He had top set. The board was rainbow. I think it was perfectly fine.
Marco was the benefactor of a slow play went wrong. And not that it was wrong to slow play, it just went wrong.
If Marco doesn't catch the gut shot, there's a very good chance he's going to bet into him again, and Daniel will pick up a bluff. In the end, he did catch the gutter, and I think that Daniel had to pay it off.
It's sort of an operation success, patient dies sort of hand.
I never understood that expression. If you die on the operating table, I just don't see how the surgery was successful.
You're too results oriented. Back at the featured table action on Daniel Negreanu, Guillaume Jenner raised to 3,200, called by Patrick Gray. Daniel with 10-9 of hearts, reaching for chips.
I'm surprised Daniel doesn't have a suited connectors blog.
He makes the call. Matthew Woodward now in the big blind, 29-year-old poker pro. And he'll come along.
Who says there are no bargains left in America? Woodward getting almost 9-1 on a call there.
4 players will see the flop. And it is Queen, King, Jack. Wow, Negreanu flops a king high straight, but something for the whole quartet. Woodward with top pair checks. Guillaume with queens up checks. Middle pair and Broadway draw for Gray. He checks.
God, everyone got a piece of that flop. America is the land of opportunity.
No soul playing for Daniel here against 3 others with a straight 8,200.
Yeah, this hand, a perfect example of when not to slow play. As you mentioned, 3 others, plus it's a coordinated board.
Woodward will come along, though.
Well, Woodward's got top pair, and he's in the worst position of the group.
Now the French pro, Guillaume Jenner, he'll commit the chips as well. Jenner with bottom 2 pair. Gray folds.
That's a pretty good fold from Gray. He had middle pair and a Broadway draw.
3 left on the turn. 5 of clubs, a blank. Good card for Negreanu. Woodward drawing dead checks. Jenner's 2 pair are no good.
But this is a pretty safe card for Jenner's 2 pair. You know, all draws would have missed here.
And he will bet it, 15,800. Now Daniel with the flopped straight. Negreanu with a big raise to 88,000. Woodward folds. Now Jenner would have to go all in to make the call.
And Negreanu's hoping Jenner has something like 2 pair or a spade draw.
I'm feeling better and better as every second goes by. You know what I mean? It's like,
now you know he doesn't have, he doesn't have the, imagine it's a slow roll. Imagine the slow roll right here.
Big decision for Jenner.
All right, I call. I got ace-10.
I was worried about the spades.
This would be for Jenner's tournament life.
Fold.
And he gives it up.
What do you say? Fold, right? Oh, okay.
King Jack?
I thought you said call. I'm like,
yeah, King Jack.
Negreanu will take the pot.
The fold. He's 2 pair for sure.
That was definitely beat. Like, you were beat? No, that was definitely beat.
Well, it's not a 100% comeback from getting rivered, but Negreanu heading in the right direction once again. Jenner made a tough laydown, but the right one.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Back at the Rio, a few past main event champs trying to reclaim the glory. Yang and Seed in good shape. Peter Eastgate is hurting.
So Antonio, when are you going to get married and settle down?
I gotta find the right girl, but when I find her...
How old are you now?
33.
Ah, you better get up, baby.
I definitely want to have some kids.
That's my dream. I never have it.
Our ESPN colleague from last year, David Tuckman, with a front row seat to the discussion of Antonio's future wife. David's a part-time poker pro as well as a play-by-play commentator. Good run for him so far.
David right now is commentating on this table in his head.
Lubis opened raised to 3,600. Tuckman in the big blind with 6-5 off will come along. Lubis known to his friends as Jay, so Jay and Dave will see a flop. Trey 4-7, and that's a big blind special for Tuck. 7 high straight.
Tuckman, a prolific commentator, believes he has commentated on more poker hands than anyone in history.
Tuckman bets 5,100.
With that scary board, Tuckman doesn't slow play the straight. Lubis could easily have a diamond draw, and he does.
16,000. How much?
Tuckman has a straight flush draw.
By the way, Tuckman listens to his own commentary on the iPod. Lubis trying to steal the pot here, but Tuckman's not going anywhere.
Tuckman with the call, trying to take chips from the table chip leader. Turn card, Jack of Spades. David Tuckman still best here.
Tuckman often meditates before betting on the turn.
Lubis trying to figure out what David Tuckman is up to. And that's over half the pot, 26,700.
I think Lubis ought to cut his losses right here, but of course a river diamond would give him a king-high flush.
And Lubis commits the chips on the draw. 7 of spades, no flushes to be had. David Tuckman is best with the flop straight.
When both of Tuckman's fingers touch his nose, he usually checks the river.
You are good.
60. 60,000. I call.
And a snap call from Tuckman.
Boy, David Tuckman made that look easy.
And David Tuckman will take that pot worth over 200,000.
He might be the second best poker-playing poker commentator.
Right behind Mike Sexton.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Whatever on the flop. Whatever on the flop. Right?
A dark cloud over Lubis. He's lost almost half his stack already today. And David Tuckman is now the secondary featured table chip leader with over 345,000.
Do you want me to tell you what happened?
He just doesn't talk the talk. He walks the walk.
I like it.
All right, back to the outer tables. Another look at Ben Lamb, who has had a light schedule since he made the November 9.
My year has not been too focused on poker. I've been playing a lot of golf, and then I got into the whole boating thing. I've played a little bit, but it's hard because living in Vegas, the bigger high stakes games don't come together, but maybe once a month or once every 2 months. And when they do, they usually fill up pretty fast, and it's hard to get in them, and there's a lot of politics. So I've traveled a little bit and played some games, but for the most part, I was just kind of getting ready and relaxing for the World Series. Funny story the other day, someone, I was taking a couple of pictures, and this one girl came up, She didn't speak very good English, and she wanted me to take a picture. And afterwards, she asked who I was.
Ben Lamb does not play a whole lot of World Series events, as was the case this year, and he hasn't cashed in 2012 at this World Series. He's 13th on the all-time money list, largely because of the money he earned at the 2011 main event for third place.
His activity away from the poker table has paid dividends. The sleeker, slimmer Lamb doing what he does. He raised with pocket aces. Tim Lockey re-raised all in with 5s. Now to Pete Noonan, who's next to act with 2 4s.
I'm all in.
Noonan shoves for about 29,000. Ben smiles and calls.
I guess when Ben shows his pocket aces, that means he's calling.
I can still win a big pot. Come on, baby.
Come on.
Find me.
Forward. One time.
Find me.
One time. Just give me one time in this tournament.
Find me. Find me.
Just one time. One time.
5, 5, 5.
Oh, a dream flop for Lamb. Aces full.
The door's not completely shut on these guys.
Turn card. Well, now the door is shut. Noonan and Lockey drawing dead, eliminated by Ben Lamb.
It's good to be Ben Lamb. And if you're Ben, it's better to have pocket aces against 2 amateurs than facing a 3-bet from Vanessa Selbst on the river.
A double knockout for Ben Lamb. Let's check in on some other familiar faces. 2011 November 9er Phil Collins, still in it with about an average stack. 2008 world champ Peter Eastgate, who took an 8-month hiatus from poker, is looking for some chips. He needs a double up ASAP. And last year's champ still has chips as we go find Pius Hines, though he was getting short last time we checked in on him. With pocket 6s, Hines saw Jawong Win open for 3,400 with pocket aces. Hines shoves with his 6s.
Hines with 23 big blinds left.
And of course he gets the call from Wynn. And it looks like Johnny Chan's recognition as the last back-to-back champ will stay intact here.
Oh, no, he gave him to me. He slid it back.
I wasn't paying attention last time.
No, they weren't.
Here's the flop. 5 trade queen, no 6 for Pius Hines.
Wynn looking to bust the defending champ.
Yeah, I got the diamond covered at least.
Turn card jack of diamonds. Pius Hines has one last gasp to keep his defense alive.
Hines needs a 6 and a 6 only, or he's gone.
The river card is the 4 of spades, and here on day 3 of the 2012 main event, defending champion Pius Hines bows out.
Well, if you income average his last 2 main events, that's more than $4 million per appearance.
It's still doing very well. Pius Hines makes his way to the exit. When getting the last of Pius's chips, now sits with 166,000. Hines gets a little consolation from Ben Lamb, but as it's happened every year since 1989, the defending champion is out. Summer nights in Las Vegas mean the World Series of Poker. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott on day 3 as we get a look at the woman who led the field at the start of the day, Gaelle Baumann.
And the 29-year-old from France still has a lot of chips.
There's Sean Deeb nearing the $500,000 mark.
He's having another fine World Series.
Jason Somerville, though, is currently the chip leader with over 540,000.
The 24-year-old bracelet winner running good.
And there's actor, author Kevin Pollak holding up Hollywood's end.
Actor, author? He was a stand-up comic first and a great one.
Oh, they all write books eventually. Let's get back to the feature table where Daniel Negreanu's chip stack is almost back to where he started this day 3. Not So Kid Poker sits with almost $250,000. Action on Daniel. Queen, Jack, offsuit.
If you watch Daniel's video log a lot, he talks about how he's balding. I'll show him balding.
To Ryan Daniel with pocket 7s.
Ryan Daniel is a dentist in Dallas. I don't know if he's balding or not.
With the 7s, he wants to get busy. There's a re-raise to 7,500 from Ryan Daniel. Woodward folds, folded over to Robert Peltecki, known as Robbie Diamonds with 2 queens, no diamond.
Peltecki is a jeweler. I wonder if he's ever done business with Scotty Wynn.
Boy, he could make a living working with Scotty. Just a call.
Might have thought Peltecki would 3-bet with the pocket queens there.
All right, so around the table. Back to Negreanu now. With Queen Jack, he'll come along for 3,900 more.
He's in the mood.
He and Ryan are underdogs to Peltecki's queens. All right, well, until now, deuce 7-10, Negreanu misses, but Ryan Daniel flops a set.
That's a pretty buff dentist, Lana. He just might pull teeth with his bare hands.
After Negreanu checked, Ryan Daniel bet 15,000. Peltecki now wakes up, a raise to 35,000. Negreanu folded, Ryan Daniel shoves.
So I didn't want to raise pre-flop. This guy got kings.
Takes the 35 in.
You got kings, huh?
Better than kings. Plus, I believe he is a living version of RoboCop.
Yeah, kings for sure, man. Please let it be jacks.
There's the call.
Oh my God, I should have raised pre-flop. Oh my God, what a terrible way I played it. Oh my God.
You might as well turn your queens over.
Oh my God, please let two of them go
How did
there.
you know you had queens? Oh my God, you're a genius. Holy cow, what a read.
Man, where'd the 7 come from,
There's
man?
no straight drop.
Should have re-raised, man.
That pairs the board. Ryan Daniel with a full boat.
How do I not re-raise with the queens there?
Only one queen left in the deck for Peltecki to bust Ryan Daniel.
Such a terrible play.
It's a 10, and Daniel will double through Peltecki.
I can't believe it. I can't.
I'm 100% sure I have one.
Man. Oh, what a terrible play.
Peltecki takes a hit. Ryan Daniel doubles up and then some, up to over 173,000.
How has MTV missed on a Robert Peltecki reality show?
Oh, Ryan Daniels' flop set leaves Robert Peltecki talking to himself and leaves his stack a lot lighter. This season, we have a new feature called Mic Check, where we track a player in the field for one level. Hollywood actor Kevin Pollak leads off.
I gotta pee really bad. You know, we just entered the second hour of the first level. It's like another 57 minutes, but I asked around and found a shortcut. So as soon as I get two guys into my hand, taking care of business. Careful, if there's a call, I'm moving. Please call, please call, please call.
I could watch Kevin Pollak go to and from the restroom all day long.
Somebody check my ass for a horseshoe.
There's the Christopher Walken impression.
Russ, get a doctor in here, quick. You got change. There you go.
He's actually doing Betty White there.
All right, let's get back over to the secondary featured table where Antonio Esfandiari sits with over $250,000 chips. Folded to Antonio. Oh, he has the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand.
Well, if it's Antonio, he's got the nuts.
Antonio with a raise to 4,300.
I think he's splashing around a little with C, 7-5 of clubs.
You say 7-5 for Antonio. Okay, folded to David Tuckman. Tuckman with king-queen suited. Calls.
Antonio's a tricky magician.
Well, Antonio made quite a splash commentating with us last year during the main event. David is an announcer also with us, so I assume they each know what the other has automatically, right? Jeremiah McKenna in the big blind. Thinking about it with 10-5 off, but no, he folds. All right, so Antonio and David Tuckman, and Norman says Antonio has C, 7-5 of clubs. The flop, ace, king, queen, 2 pair for Tuckman.
Antonio could be semi-bluffing here with a club draw.
Casually puts out 6,200. Tuckman with bottom 2 pair, just calls.
This is a battle of the earbuds.
Turn card, Jack of Hearts. That puts a Broadway draw on the board.
I think Antonio's clearly behind. You know, whether he has a pair of aces, pocket sixes, or a club draw, so I believe he's going to check.
Check.
Oh.
That's a bet.
Oh, he bets?
16-2.
Of course, I'd already ruled out D, but he could have just hit the gut shot. I don't see how he's betting any of the other hands.
Tuckman flop 2 pair, comes along with the call.
I don't blame him for coming along, but I'd be worried if I were David Tuckman.
Now the river card. Another black ace.
The thing is, everyone always thinks Antonio is bluffing, and he never is. It's uncanny. And that river ace cannot be a card David Tuchman likes to see.
Yeah, he's laser focused on what Antonio's doing here. That's a bet of 26,300.
Esfandiari bets almost half the pot, and David Tuchman doesn't like his hand as much anymore. And there, look at that. He got tired of the sound of his own voice and removed the earbuds.
That is serious.
The magician, I believe, would have to be criminally insane in this spot to be betting with any hand other than the 10-9 for Broadway.
Tuck folds. Antonio turned Broadway to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I was right too late, so I was wrong.
Antonio keeps winning. Now we get another look at the first woman ever to start day 3 as the chip leader.
I'm someone who is patient, which is really important in tournaments. I know how to play solid and change gears as well, so I'm doing well, and I have a lot of experience in cash game, so that really helps for tournaments as well.
Baumann is a World Series of Poker main event rookie, barely $10,000 in other World Series tournament earnings. She did finish 15th in this year's ladies event. Let's catch up with Gaelle in a hand with pocket deuces. She raised to 3,200. She was called by the Jack 10 suited of George Chuchuk and the Ace 9 suited of Nicholas Farnborough. 3 players seeing the flop here. Baumann flops a set of deuces. Farnborough with ace high checks. Now Gaelle Baumann. 5,000. Chuchuk folds. Now to Farnborough.
No slow play here from Baumann. And the 26-year-old British pro is left with squadouche.
But chips in hand, and there's a check raise from Farnborough to 13-8.
No, Farnborough thinks she's trying to steal, so he'll try to steal. He looks like a thief.
Baumann, who has it, re-pops it to 25,000 straight.
Yeah, well, rule number 17 of poker, never try to steal from a French woman who studied linguistics and literature in Australia.
And Farnborough learns that lesson a little too late and finally gives up the hand. Gaelle Baumann takes that pot.
She's the chip leader again. Poker's easy when you flop sets and get someone to bluff with basically no outs.
Sitting with almost 554,000. Gaelle just one of a number of women poker players who are having an impact on this 2012 main event. Liv Boeree has increased her stack early on day 3.
Hello again, ladies.
Vanessa Selbst, certainly one of the best players in the room.
I cashed in a World Series event this year, Vanessa.
Maria Ho closing in on the 200,000 chip mark.
I actually final tabled a World Series event this year, Maria.
But it is Gaelle Baumann who is turning heads right now. Over 500,000 chips in her first ever main event. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Considered to be one of the best players without a bracelet, pro Andy Block finally shook off that label this summer.
This was a tough final table, a lot of great players. David Williams won it a couple years ago. Barry Greenstein I've played for many years, and he beat me heads up in a small stud tournament in Atlantic City. I finally got him back. It feels great after all these years, almost 20 years I've been playing in the World Series. Finally won my first bracelet. My 14th top 9 or 10 finish, finally won a bracelet.
Here's a list Andy is no doubt happy to be off of. Some of the best players without a bracelet. This is not a list Tony Cousineau wants to be heading. Norman, with a few more cashes, you just might make your way onto that list.
Actually, I believe I'm still on the worst without a bracelet list.
Back at our featured table, there's Robert Peltecki. He does not have a World Series bracelet, but certainly has plenty of other jewelry.
My name is Robert Peltecki, but my nickname is Robbie Diamonds. I need this diamond bracelet, man. You see how much diamonds there's everywhere? That's the one that I need to be wearing. Give me that bracelet. You guys teased me, you got me wearing it. Now I want it. I think it's beautiful. The color of it, it's got rubies and diamonds and all kinds of things. I started playing poker about 2003. I had a jewelry store in Beverly Hills, so I had a lot of famous players and famous people that I would do business with, and it started to become the moneymaker boom. And, I just went along for the ride. My only reason for playing was to meet more famous people or to, make a customer out of that night. I'd lose 20 or 30,000 at one of my friend's house that night, and I wouldn't care because the next day, one of his friends would come down to the jewelry store and buy like 100,000 or 200,000. So I just did it as a hobby, just to, you know, have a little fun and get to know more players, more famous people.
Give him credit, he's like a pool hustler, but he hustles bling. He loses to you today, you buy from him tomorrow.
Robbie Diamonds picked up the biggest diamond along with its cousin. Pocket aces raised pre-flop. Jenner called with pocket threes. Robert checked the 9-8-8 flop. Jenner bets 5,700.
And right here, Robbie Diamonds trying to hustle Jenner.
Jenner, the poker pro from Paris, 21 years old. Peltecki from the Hollywood Hills with a check raise to 12,500.
Well, the 21-year-old has been put in a couple of tough spots at this feature table already.
Jenner not shying away from Robbie Diamonds, and that's a re-raise to over 24,000.
And now it's got to occur to Peltecki that maybe Jenner has hit trips on the flop, similar to how Ryan Daniel hit a set of sevens against him earlier.
Peltecki, well, he's going to stick around, and he says, you want to play for your stack, Mr. Jenner? And Guillaume folds. Robbie Diamonds will take that pot.
Peltecki's 4-bet sealed the deal that time.
Peltecki recovers nicely from his earlier dip and remains a player in the 2012 World Series of Poker Main Event. No funny business about that. Chip stack actor Kevin Pollak on the uptick for day 3.
When he performed stand-up at age 10, it was a 50-cent cover, 2 Yoo-hoo minimum.
Back at the featured table, Matthew Woodward still best here. Daniel Negreanu with a better-than-average chip stack with almost 230,000. Negreanu opened raise to 4,400, but Ryan Daniel picked up aces and made it 10,000 straight. Daniel comes along.
Optimistic call from Negreanu. When he's got a big chip stack, he likes to see a lot of flops.
He'll have position on Ryan Daniel. I guess that's worth 5,600 more. 6-9 queen. Ryan Daniel's aces are still best, and he checks. Negreanu with a gut shot.
And Daniel could posture here with that gut shot.
He does not. He checks. Turn card. Pairs Negreanu. Ryan Daniel checks again. They both check. Another 6 on the river. Ace is up now for Ryan Daniel, and he's reaching.
Jeez. Now the bomb comes out?
That's 20,000.
The 6 rolls off. Now you fire?
I thought Ryan Daniel was checking his way to disaster, but now he might get Negreanu to pay him off.
Daniel wondering, can my 8 be good?
Surprise Kid Poker isn't talking this one out.
See, now I can say, like, I feel like the only hand that really beats me is 2 10s.
Oh, there he goes.
I don't think he has anything but that beats me. All the rest is just some weird, goofy hand. I can say that, because now I'm not raising. I can say whatever I want. I can say I can't beat 10s.
Negreanu calls.
That works too. Yeah, that wins.
Yeah.
Is that a triple check, a double check?
Yeah, check. I had a lot of outs. Huh?
Jack 8.
Exactly, Jack 8. Well done. Because you figured I had a jack in my hand, because I said 10s instead of jacks.
I like how Ryan Daniel, sitting next to Kid Poker, acts as if he can't even hear him talking. Just take his chips.
All right, let's get back over to the secondary feature table, and Antonio Esfandiari sitting with almost 279,000 chips. He saw Jeremiah McKenna raise with King Queen. Antonio with Ace 10 will test the poker pro from Norwalk, Connecticut with a raise.
Esfandiari re-raising there, knowing he'll call if McKenna shoves.
Like Daniel Negreanu on the featured table, Antonio and all big-time poker pros having to deal with unknown opponents here at the main event, trying to figure them out as they go.
All right, let's see all 5.
Jeremiah McKenna says, I'm taking my stand. And a quick call from Antonio.
I believe McKenna is wearing a wristband. To all those people who think poker isn't a sport, think again.
Esfandiari ahead, McKenna at risk.
I'm running too good this summer.
Nice playing with you, sir. Sorry.
All right, the flop, and there's an ace for Antonio.
Who couldn't see that coming?
Welcome to the summer of Esfandiari.
Put a 10 ball.
Queen pairs McKenna, gets some outs.
That's a sweat.
What do you want now?
Yeah, McKenna now going to need a king or a queen.
No pain.
Put a jack out there. Just make it interesting at least. Put a jack.
5 pain.
River card. Deuce. McKenna comes up short. Esfandiari scores the knockout.
When's the last time Antonio missed a flop?
Isn't that true? McKenna, his latest victim, magician, keeps finding rabbits in the hat. This one cost McKenna his tournament. He started the day with 80,000, leaves with nothing but a story. Antonio Esfandiari on the heels of his $18 million payday and the big one for one drop, running good here on day 3 of the main event. If you believe in momentum in poker, then you have to believe in Antonio Esfandiari coming off the biggest win in poker history. In a tournament of big moments, Antonio has done it! A magical run for the magician. Esfandiari is positioning himself for an improbable one-drop main event back-to-back.
The main event is so special in that it's the Super Bowl of poker. No pain. No pain.
But here at the World Series of Poker main event, there is danger at every turn.
That's a sweat.
The players know that day 3 provides safety for no one.
Good luck, sir.
And the momentum you came in with can leave as quickly as your chips. Welcome back to Las Vegas for continuing coverage of the 2012 World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Day 3 of the main event has already seen its share of drama. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott from the Rio. Right now, everyone chasing Gaelle Baumann.
A woman on top of the main event? What is this, the 21st century?
Jason Somerville has made an early run to challenge Baumann.
Order is restored. A man with a bracelet. That's the way I like it.
Vanessa Selbst always finds ways to accumulate chips.
Another woman? And man, she's got 2 bracelets. What is the world coming to?
Daniel Negreanu can finally get a massage after his feature table appearance.
Hey, real men don't get massages while playing poker.
There's Claudia Crawford. She finished 85th in last year's main event.
Geez, when did the main event go co-ed?
And actor Kevin Pollak may be challenging you for celebrity with the best poker acumen.
I'm a celebrity?
America, if not the world, is watching. No pressure.
The world will see a woman leading day 3 for the first time in World Series of Poker history. A less international feel on the leaderboard than in years past, with 7 Americans in the top 10.
2 women in the top 10, plus Sean Deeb, who once dressed as a woman, unfortunately, to play in the ladies' event here. The times are a-changing.
Hey.
How are you?
My man with the rubber band.
What band it is? What the rubber it is?
Joining Antonio at the secondary featured table is indeed the rubber band guy, Robert Croak. We'll get to him in a second. Esfandiari is the story with nearly 350,000 chips.
I'd say he's on a heater. 3 great days at the big one for one drop led to $18 million. Now 3 good days here at the main event.
3 seats over is Croak, entrepreneur and creator of Silly Bands. Croak is stacked with almost 450,000 chips.
And here I always thought he created those things that keep your glasses on your face. Croakies. Maybe his brother.
Very nice. All right, so Vitas James with Ace Queen, 30-year-old. Not a pro, he says, but he runs an online poker training site. With a suited Ace Queen, a raise to 4,300. Antonio with Ace Jack of Hearts.
Ace Jack suited is better than James's Ace Queen suited, trust me.
Antonio, 33-year-old pro with a re-raise to 10,300.
Antonio has positioned all the big stacks at this table, which is what happens when you're running as well as he is.
So back to Vitas James now with his Ace Queen suited.
James graduated from the University of Texas at Brownsville. I believe they are the Golden Gophers.
6,000 is the call, and he'll be heads up with Antonio. Ace Queen against Ace Jack. Here is the flop. 9, 7, 8. James still has the best hand, but Antonio now favored with a nut flush draw and gut shot.
Yeah, like you say, Antonio is still beat on the flop, but statistically, he has the better chance to end up with the best hand.
You're right. Ace Jack is better than Ace Queen. Antonio puts out 15,800. James now with the Ace Queen suited.
Yeah, nothing. When you miss, you miss.
No flush draw, no nothing.
He should leave.
He makes the call, though.
I hate that call. If you're going to play, check raise, Antonio. Make some noise.
That's a golden gopher for you. King of Diamonds misses both. The scales tip to James, now with just a card to come. He checks again.
Well, Antonio no longer the favorite, but it looks like he's going to bet his draws again.
He will test the amateur further. 28,500.
Well, it looks like the amateur with the poker training site.
Indeed.
Looks like the amateur with the poker training site is a non-believer in the Magician's Act.
Vetus James, looks like more than just calling chips. Boy, that is strong, Norman. A raise to 72,300.
That's more like it.
All in.
Oh, boy, that's a pro. The ultimate pressure now on James.
Wow, if I were Antonio, I would have folded to that check raise. But how do you mess with the magical magician? What was James thinking, check raising the magical magician?
They have nearly even chip stacks. Antonio with a slight chip advantage forces James to fold. So you wouldn't have played the hand like Antonio?
Well, I might, but only under certain conditions.
And what conditions?
If I just won $18 million.
Show me the deuce.
Stay one card.
Oh, okay. Nice hand, buddy.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
When Jeff Fortgang wrote Some Guys Have All the Luck in the early 70s, Antonio Esfandiari wasn't even born yet. But that song may as well have been written about him. $18.3 million at the big one for one drop, his second World Series bracelet, and a poker career that has the trajectory of a lunar rocket. Tonight, as we near the midway point of day 3, we'll get a closer look at Antonio as he tries to accumulate chips and splash down at the final table.
Lon, only in America could an Iranian magician work his way to the pinnacle of the poker mountain. But let's not fool ourselves. With Antonio, it's more than luck. He's finally taken his talents and reaped the benefits. Party Antonio has been replaced by Poker Antonio, and he looks and acts like a changed man. Some guys may have all the luck, but some have a lot of skill too.
At that secondary table, Antonio sitting with about 450,000 chips. He has more than doubled his stack here on day 3. Back at the featured table now, we see Ben Lamb. He showed us last year he knows how to navigate the main event with a third-place finish. Ben with almost 210,000. Also here from Great Britain, flat out one of the best players anywhere, Chris Moorman.
And Moorman with his version of the Tower of London.
Moorman leads this table with almost 410,000 chips.
He loves to take chances, and with a big stack, he is very dangerous.
Action folded to Moorman. He looks down at pocket tens.
And he's even more dangerous when he has a real hand.
Moorman.
4,500.
We'll raise it up to 4,500.
Well, if you throw in a 5,000 chip, just make the bet 5,000. Now they have to make change for him.
Totally agree with you. Action on amateur David DeBoer with ace-queen off. He's from Winter Haven, Florida.
Owns a landscape company.
DeBoer with the call. Another amateur next to him, Alan Curl from South Dakota with Queen Jack.
He owns a trucking company.
A lot of firepower around this table for these amateurs to negotiate. He calls.
See, I don't think Curl calls 5,000. 4,500 sounds like a nice discount.
In the small blind, Ross Johnson from Ireland, the short stack at the table with king, queen off. And he's going to raise to 11,000.
And Johnson raising more than half his stack. So he's telling the table he's ready to go to the mat with king, queen.
I doubt Chris Moorman is going anywhere sitting with the pocket tens.
Raise.
He announces re-raise. Moorman says 25,000 straight.
25,000.
Gets rid of DeBoer.
Yeah, see, you come in for the discount and it cost you.
Johnson's got to put all his chips in to call, and he does.
Good hand. Pretty good. Flip. Take that. It's dead money.
Johnson's going to need to get help to stick around. Only one queen left in the deck. 7-5-4, no paint. Johnson still in trouble. Chris Moorman still enjoying the big advantage.
Moorman trying to add another tower to his stack at Ross Johnson's expense.
Turn card now. Another 5. Johnson gets no help. He'll have to do it on the river or not at all.
Ross Johnson's got to have a king or a queen.
The 6 means Johnson comes up short, knocked out of the main event by Chris Moorman. A lot of people have said that.
Okay, Chris.
Nice one.
Take care.
Mormon now with over 450,000 chips. Johnson taking the walk every poker player dreads, but one that many will take today on day 3. If you don't stop and look around, day 3 of the main event can move pretty quickly. Back inside the Rio in the Brasilia room, a new addition this year. 2 high-powered pros facing off. That's Eric Baldwin in the red cap and Chad Stash. He turned a 10-high flush and bet 42.5 after Jason Somerville rivered a 9-high flush and checked.
Yeah.
Jason commits the chips, and he has been pipped, as they say.
10-high flush beats 9-high flush. That I know.
So Eric Baldwin will collect the chips. He goes over 300,000. Jason, who tasted the chip leadership here, drops below $500,000.
Goes to a good cause. I like it.
Boy, that puts my stash to shame.
Real sport.
So a nice battle between 2 World Series of Poker bracelet winners. Back in the Amazon room, off to the side of our featured table, we're going to find Eric Lindgren. His first World Series cash came in 03, first bracelet in 08, first main event cash last year. E-Dog flopped a gut shot against Darren Judges, who leads with a pair of 9s. Lindgren bets 4,500.
Judges, a London-born semi-pro, now lives in Thailand.
And he commits 4,500, and they will see a turn card. Turn card is perfect for Lindgren. He turns the straight.
Lindgren gets lucky. He's always lucky when I'm around.
Lindgren bets 9,500.
Hard for Judges to put Lindgren on an 8.
Top pair, top kicker, and a losing hand. He makes the call. To the river they go. Ace is up now for Judges, but it's not good because he can't beat the straight.
Ace is up, though. Looks good.
Lindgren now, 16,000. And a quick call from Judges. Eric turns over the winning straight.
I feel bad for Judges.
As mentioned, it took a long while for Eric to get his first main event cash last year, but it was worth the wait. 43rd place, worth $196,000, sitting with about an average chip stack right now. Just 4 years ago, Lindgren was Player of the Year here at the World Series. A lot has changed for him, including marriage and the birth of his son, who I believe already knows how to check raise.
Well, Lon, since he was Player of the Year, Eric hasn't had the same success at the World Series. 3 final tables in 08, only 2 final tables since then, but he's got a great family now, not a bad trade-off.
Back over to our featured table. The blinds at 1,000, 2,000 with a 300 chip ante. Action will start on David Randall, poker pro from Ohio, who now lives here in Las Vegas, King 10 of diamonds.
He's also a poker coach and makes poker training videos.
And from his stack of over $500,000, he raises to 4,500. To Ben Lamb now with ace queen off.
No cashes at this year's World Series for Ben Lamb.
He's a bracelet winner, November 9er, Player of the Year, and that was just last year. And he calls 4,500. Mormon folds over to Ben Hamnet. 8-5 into the muck. On the button, Ben Tollerine with pocket trays on the Jack Link's beef jerky whole cam.
25-year-old pro who graduated from Texas Tech with a finance degree.
Known as Ben86 Online, one of the top earners over the last few years. He makes the call. David DeBoer with 6-4 suited. From the small blind, he calls. How about his buddy Alan Curl, the other amateur? Queen Jack.
Bargain hunters from the blinds, Lon. They should just go shop at Kohl's.
Not a party without the big blind.
You have like 150? Not more, like 2?
A little less than 2, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Table for 5 to see the flop, please. All right, the flop is King 4-9. Randall flops top pair to lead. DeBoer with a pair of 4s. He checks. Curl with a gut shot. He checks. Randall now with the kings.
Randall should not be allowed to bet again until he stacks his chips. It's just the civil way to play.
Randall will not check. 13,600. Ben Lamb missed, but, well, he's Ben Lamb.
Yeah, Ben Lamb thinking bad thoughts here, Lon. Bad thoughts can lead to bad things. Ben never afraid to battle a big stack, and Ben's got squadouche.
He raises to 30,000 with just ace high. Tollerine folds his 3s, DeBoer his 4s. Curl with just a draw. Still a draw. And he gets out of the way. Now back to Randall.
Randall should not be allowed to 3-bet until he stacks his chips. It's just the polite thing to do.
Randall wants to take a bite of Lamb.
Well, he just calls.
All right, so 2 heavy hitters. We'll see the turn card. Jack of diamonds. Randall still leads, adds a gut shot. Broadway draw for Lamb. Randall checks.
Now it's a pretty good card for Randall, but he yields to Ben.
Ben is a 10 short of Broadway. And he checks back.
Boy, I thought Lamb was going to pull the trigger again.
River card now. Deuce of diamonds.
Now, Randall now could throw in a small value bet here, hoping that Ben calls him, with something like a pair of 9s.
Randall checks.
Check.
I have a king.
And the king is going to be good, and Randall will take some chips from Ben Lamb.
Well, David Randall should not be allowed to drag in a pot before he is organized and stacked the chips in front of him already. It's just the proper way to conduct yourself.
Back again this season is former FBI agent Joe Navarro. He has some thoughts on that last hand.
One of the most useful tells in poker is what we call the hard swallow. And that's where the Adam apple either jumps up or goes down dramatically. And here in this case, we have David and Ben both doing the same behavior, but what does it mean? Usually it's an indicator that they're under some kind of stress. And in David's case, probably because he's playing at a major table. In Ben's case, most likely it is, and as we can see it here, is that he is a little bit tense about his hand post-flop.
I'm glad Joe Navarro is back. I'm going to bring him to my supermarket and see if he can pick up a tell on the produce manager.
Folded to Ben Lamb here at the feature table with 2 red aces. Ben will try to exact revenge on anyone who's taken a pot from him. The blinds are up to 12 and 2,400. Ben raised to 5,500.
What if I have it again?
Ben Hamnet in the big blind calls with Queen Jack.
Put it in there anyways.
Huh?
I should have just put it in there and hoped I had 3 outs.
The flop, 8-5 Queen, top pair for Hamnet.
Yeah, this is good news for Ben. Of course, he's got his pocket aces. His opponent flops top pair. Hamnet, a 29-year-old pro from Pittsburgh.
He checked to the razor. Lamb obliged with 6,000, and there's the call from Hamnet. Turn card. Deuce of spades. Now, why is that card in the deck, Norman?
Yeah, we should just go straight to the river if they're going to put that out.
Hamnet.
He likes this board, but top pair is not top shelf here. Lamb's got him where he wants him.
Hamnet leads out this time, 13,000.
Lamb figures his pocket aces are good. Looking for the best way to extract more chips from Hamnet.
Each player looks like they love their hand.
All in.
Well, Lamb puts Hamnet to the test.
2 terrible hands in a row.
Yeah, this would be for all of Hamnet's chips. Boy, that's a pretty dry board. Tough to fold top pair here if you're Ben Hamnet, but it is for his main event life.
Oh my God.
A near fold.
I was almost certain I was gonna call. Oh. Insane.
Finally, Hamnet gives it up. Good choice.
Tough decisions.
Bad play makes tough decisions.
A few chips for Lamb there in that hand, but he's down from where he started day 3 in his quest for back-to-back main event final tables. Many familiar faces still in the hunt here on day 3. We saw Ben Lamb take a small pot trying to get back to the final table. A guy who knows something about final tables, Action Dan Harrington.
He's made the main event final table 4 times.
Jerry Yang won't be back where he was in 2007.
Nice guys can't always finish first.
Cricket superstar Shane Warne is gone.
It's easier to take a wicket than flop a set.
And we have a new chip leader in the house, JJ Lowo from Houston, Texas.
He didn't get those chips by folding. The amateur plays a lot of pots.
Also out in the field still is Maria Ho. Maria just flopped a set against the top pair, top kicker of Matt Berkey. Berkey bet 25,000 with his 2 kings.
Ho, the last woman standing in the 2007 main event, finishing 37th. Berkey was 43rd in the 2010 main event.
Maria Ho just calls with the set. Turn card now. You see Maria with a huge advantage, and Maria has her opponent drawing dead now. Berkey opts to check this time.
Somehow the Las Vegas pro knows to slow down with top pair, top kicker.
Maria Ho says all in, and a quick call from Berkey.
Oh no, he was actually happy to induce Maria to go all in. Just another guy who was wrong again.
Top pair, top kicker spells disaster for Matt Berkey as Maria Ho doubles up to over 261,000.
Yep, you fooled another man. Are you happy? She plays good poker.
Maria Ho with 5 cashes so far at this year's World Series of Poker. All right, let's swing back over to the secondary feature table where Antonio Esfandiari sits, coming off his huge big one for one-drop victory. Antonio partied and then reported for work at his new tanning salon, Spray La Vie.
I learned clear intention. It was a weekend course in Las Vegas. I've learned that. All you have to do is declare it, just throw it out in the universe and go after it. I always wanted to be in business, and I met a gentleman who had this new idea to have just spray tan booths and no tanning beds. He said, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'm interested." Spray La Vie is right on Sunset Boulevard next to the Hustler store, right in the heart of Hollywood. Actually, I've never got a spray tan before. I know it's pathetic. I own a spray tan salon and I have yet to be sprayed. So today, we're gonna de-virginize Antonio. Well, I'm gonna have to drop my towel.
All right, well, I'm moving over here.
Okay, put this over
Please
there.
stand in position 1, facing the nozzle.
Holy You can do whatever you want to do in this life as long as you put your mind to it. My focus is on poker, my relationships with the people that I love, and Spray La Vie.
Your session is now complete. Please carefully exit the versus box.
It seems that lately everything the Iranian-born magician does turns to gold, which I guess in the tanning business is what you're aiming for.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, we'll keep it here at the secondary feature table. Action folded to Antonio. Queen, deuce of clubs. He's the big stack at this table. Raised to 5,300.
Antonio may not make too many wild bluffs deep in a hand, but he will open with a wide range with the best of them.
He was supposed to work with us on the big one for one-drop broadcast, but opted to play instead.
Big mistake.
Salah Levy with ace-7 off in the big blind.
Israeli-born semi-pro and tennis coach who lives in New Jersey.
Known as Papa, he calls for 2,900 more.
Wonder what this hand will do for relations in the Middle East. I think a split pot would be nice.
Queen for queen. Is anybody surprised? Trip queens for Antonio. Levy with ace-high checks.
Antonio can either bet or check. If he were sitting here during the commentary, he'd be able to tell you what he's going to do, but not me.
And he won't tell Levy until now. He bets 6,400.
Now, Papa might believe his ace-high is the best hand here.
He does call with the weak ace. Turn card now.
Okay.
7 of spades. Salah pairs his kicker and picks up the nut flush draw and checks again.
What a great card for Levy on the turn. I mean, 2 pair might be best now, plus he's got that draw to the nut flush.
Antonio staying consistent, 13,200.
No way Antonio was going to give any free cards there with 3 spades on the board. See, I can analyze the simpler stuff.
3 in a row, spades too. I know you picked that up right away. Well, Papa, not believing, makes the call.
Papa, a long-time successful tournament player.
River card now, ace of hearts.
Morning.
Ace is up for Papa. He moves all in.
Well, it was a quick all in. Papa absolutely convinced he's good here.
And now Antonio.
What in the world do you have?
You know what I have? If you call, you're going to see that anyway, right?
Antonio seems dumbfounded.
For sure, I'm going to show you anyway. You're my buddy. So you're the greatest player in the world, and you have to figure what I have. Good read.
Levy taunting Antonio. This is a nice change of pace.
That was a good one.
I guess you have a flush, huh? Oh, man.
Levy started this hand with about 70 big blinds.
Okay.
What a big shove by him on the river.
Antonio flop, trip queens, and now befuddled.
This is so sick. You just have to have it. Why do I pay you off? Huh?
Buddy, it's up to you. You're not going to see that. You're going to see that anyway.
Call.
He calls. Levy shows his hand. Oh, and Levy is shocked to see that he's been eliminated.
Good luck to you, buddy.
Good, tough read by Antonio. Not as good of a read by Papa.
Boy, Papa thought his aces up were good. He goes out without cashing here on day 3. And with the way Antonio is running, he just may win this tournament here on day 3. The magician turned poker player turned businessman is cruising. Welcome back to the Rio, and a look at this year's World Series of Poker Main Event bracelet. Retail value $150,000, but life value priceless. 1,353 players still in it. One of them, Alabama Cowboy Hoyt Corkins, who today is all cowboy, not much hat. He's all in with a flush draw after the flop against Maurice Hawkins with his straight flush draw.
Because the 5 of hearts coming on turn, and they know it. It's coming right there, 5 of hearts.
Hawkins has 5 World Series cashes. Corkins has 2 bracelets.
5 of hearts. Sorry about this, sir.
Corkins ahead with queen high.
5 of hearts.
That 8 gives Hawkins a double gutter with a straight flush draw. Corkins still ahead.
7, Heat Nation, 7 of heart. Come on, 7 of heart. We run good for a living. Waiting on you to put up the 7 of hearts.
River card.
7 of heart. 7 of heart.
Oh, the tray works just as well.
That's a straight. Thank you. And that's how you win tournaments. I told you.
Boy, I wouldn't have put Hoyt on a fist bump.
You one for the cameras. Heat Nation, baby. We'll take those. That's a straight.
In case you missed it, Hawkins hit a straight. He's now up to over 267,000 chips.
That's how you win tournaments.
Hoyt Corkins has been a terrific presence at the World Series for over 20 years.
You're dang all right. That's what I'm talking about. Heat Nation.
That's what I've been doing wrong.
All right, you see that past main event champ Robert Varconi has been eliminated. The chip average in the room just over 146,000. At an outer table, we catch up with Claudia Crawford. She was one of 3 women who made the top 100 last year, along with Amanda Musumeci and Erica Motino. In a memorable hand against eventual champ Pius Hines, Claudia almost pulled off a huge bluff.
I knew he was full of when they show it on TV, you'll say, damn, she knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I 5-bet him. If he had the nerve to 6-bet me, then he wins the pot. Sorry.
In tonight's edition of Mike Check, we get to hear what Claudia was up to during this level. No doubt she's had a few things to say.
I am from Alabama, Roll Tide. You could fold, it'd be nice. Please? I really wanted him to fold. Not low. Wee, wee. I live in Biloxi, Mississippi now, but I'm from Alabama. Well, I travel the circuit, you know, in Florida and Chicago and New Orleans, and we have them several times a year in Biloxi. But yeah, I will always remain in the South. Bama, Roll Tide.
Seems like Claudia Crawford is a Bama fan, but that's just a guess.
Action here at the secondary feature table folded to Robert Croak, the inventor of silly bands. 9-6 of clubs. He lives here in Vegas. This is his 6th main event. A raise to 5,200. Vetus James in the big blind with King 10. The Texan calls. Antonio Esfandiari with Queen Jack of Diamonds.
Leaning on one elbow right now, a little bored for a moment.
He calls for 2,800 more. 3-way flop. 5, 6, 10, 2 diamonds. Antonio with a flush draw. He's favored with that draw and 2 overcards and bets 11,400. Croak with a pair of 6s.
Some of you might have watched Croak on High Stakes Poker. He's the type of guy you root for.
He plays in a lot of the big games around here in Las Vegas. And he calls. Now Vetus James with the pair of 10s has the best hand at the moment.
I'd also root for James if he unzipped that sweatsuit just a little. Loosen up, have a good time.
11,004 is the bet, and that is the call. So all 3 will see the turn card. Antonio favored at the moment. Turn card another 5. That misses Antonio. 10s and 5s for James have him ahead.
Antonio's hand is looking worse and worse, but out of position. Antonio's still going to try to bully the smaller stacks.
With Queen High, he bets 33,200. No improvement for Croak. And looks like he's going to withdraw, get rid of his pair of 6s. James now with 2 pair.
James has got an earring. He definitely should let his hair down.
He has loosened up.
Call.
He does call.
Headbutt.
Antonio sees an ace of spades on the river.
Antonio's hand is now kaput.
He checks.
10 good.
James checks. 10s and 5s are good.
Well, we now have proof that Antonio does not win every pot he enters.
James takes that one.
That was a bad river card.
Well, the turn was bad too. The flop, not so bad.
Anything else, you were gonna get me for like 80.
James over 307,000. Antonio down to 543,000 as James stacks Antonio's former chips. From the secondary table back to the featured table. David Randall creeping up on that top spot on the overall leaderboard with more than 665,000 chips. He says he gets mistaken for pro Jason Mercier on a regular basis, which isn't surprising because he often has a mountain of chips in front of him as well. He has shot more than 100 hours of training videos and hosted a few poker training camps.
Randall claims his favorite poker hand is pocket jacks. I don't trust him.
Says he loves to play golf as well. Ace 4 suited.
He's cashed 4 times at this World Series.
Middle position now. Randall with a raise to 5,600. Ben Lamb on the button.
Randall and Ben Lamb both live in Panorama Towers in Las Vegas, which means they are neighbors at home and at this table.
Chris Moorman with ace queen from the big blind.
One gets the sense that Moorman has a architectural background, just a very solid foundation of chips.
He was third place in the 2011 Player of the Year race. Just calls. Heads up with Randall now. The flop, 9-8-8, misses both. Moorman still best with the ace queen. He checks. Randall, however, doesn't seem to be afraid of the paired board, bets 10,100.
That's scary. Jason Mercier would have bet 10,100 also in that exact spot.
Moorman after his check makes the call.
What is it about ace queen? They missed the flop. They won't go away.
Turn card. 7 of diamonds. Randall picks up a flush draw. Moorman left with ace high.
And Randall watching his every move. Well, we've seen this before tonight. Ace queen's got nothing. Check calls the flop, then leads out on the turn.
Healthy bet, 24,300.
Randall looking at Moorman, who only breathes twice an hour.
Moorman thinking, okay, buddy, this is where you quit, mate.
Boy, Lon, Randall even handles the chips like Jason Mercier.
And he makes the call.
No, I think Moorman's bet there on the turn would have worked if the 7 wasn't a diamond.
Yeah, Randall picked up a flush draw. River card 4 of hearts, and that pairs Randall, and that's the best hand.
Man, Randall even running like Mercier.
That's right. Moorman checks here. And a check from Randall.
Ace high.
Pair of 4s will beat Chris Moorman. And David Randall now with over 700,000 chips.
296 big blinds? That's called a Jason Mercier stack.
Moorman down to almost 316,000. So poker instructor, avid golfer David Randall can now add day 3 main event chip leader to his resume. The international-looking skyline of Las Vegas, high above Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott here on day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event, checking to see what's going on in the outer tables. Daniel Negreanu's stack is dwindling.
Maybe the masseuse pocketed some of his chips.
Robert Peltecki holding steady.
Looks like he's about to knock over a liquor store.
Start of day chip leader Gaelle Baumann moving in the wrong direction.
Well, it's a long day. I think she'll be okay.
Vanessa Selbst continuing to chip up.
Have we mentioned she might be the best player in the room?
Let's get back to the Brasilia room here at the Rio. Bracelet winner Eugene Kachaloff of New York just called all in with pocket queens, trying to double through Sean Rice and his ace-king. And here's the flop. Tray 6-7. Sean Rice catches none of that. Kachaloff, so far so good. Turn card is an ace to put Kachaloff squarely in the crosshairs, and the deuce will send him home.
Oh, Kachaloff goes right to the phone, post bust out to take the important fake call.
Sean Rice with the knockout approaching 700,000 chips. 5 cashes this summer for Eugene, but not to be in the main event.
And Rice now with a top 10 stack.
Under 1,300 players left, the chip average almost 153,000. Back at the secondary featured table, we check in with Robert Croak. If Phil Hellmuth is the king of World Series bracelets, then Croak is the king of kids bracelets.
Well, the world will believe that I lived under a rock until silly bands became popular, but I've been in the restaurant and nightclub business for many years, and I've also been in the product development business for many years. And my first actual big hit was we were the first company that did custom silicone bracelets like the Livestrong bracelet. And that kind of led the way for silly bands, which now obviously the rest is history. The one thing I tell people, if you're gonna do this, you have to do it all in. Let's use a poker term. Because a lot of people, they wanna be an entrepreneur, but they're not willing to dedicate and really get out on that limb and make it happen.
Who knew Rick Moranis was into product development?
We'll stay here for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Action on Robert. He has the wild card hand. Keep in mind, Norman, he's a pretty decent poker player. Under the gun, he raises to 5,300.
Silly bands, silly man, pocket 4s. I'm going with B.
Vetus James with pocket 8s. Right next to Croak. And he just calls.
The sale of silly bands exceeded $200 million in 2010. I created silly ankle bands, and I can't sell 3 of them.
And I can't get rid of the one I bought. David Tuckman folds. Tom Blizniak now on the button.
Remember Cabbage Patch Dolls?
Yeah.
That's another big seller I missed out on.
I go way back to the Pet Rock.
The Pet Rock.
Boy, we had that in our hands.
You can't do anything with it.
No.
At least with like a hula hoop, you can hoop.
Gerardo Lubas in the big blind, 6'5" of diamonds.
Lubas, the 40-year-old pro from the Philippines.
He's seen those cards work on TV, so he calls. 3 players. 4 ace tray. Lubas with an up and down straight draw.
And my man, I believe, has mined a set. He drilled for a set and he found one on the flop. I'm sticking with B if he bets here.
Lubas checked. Croak with chips in hand. He bets 8,700.
He's got pocket 4s.
James gets rid of his 8s. Lubas will come along.
You can't blame him with the up and down straight draw.
Oh, that's up.
All right, so Lubas with the straight draw against the man you say has a set, is that right? An 8 on the turn. Where have you gone, Vetus James? Your set is calling.
Well, that's why it's a good thing Croak didn't slow play it, assuming he has a set.
Lubas checked again, and Croak looks like he wants to bet again. 17-3.
Set of 4s, people. Book it.
Lubas with the draw. And a raise to 40,000.
Well, we've seen Lubas make this play earlier on day 3, raising on the draw. And now we'll see if Croak defines his hand.
How was that for defining? 120,000 is
That's
the raise.
a set, baby. Send me the wild card money. I don't even need to see the rest of the cards. He's got pocket 4s, or I'm a monkey's uncle and aunt.
Lubas folds. Croak with the pocket 4s to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Nice job, Norman.
Tell me something I don't know.
The free fall of Lubas continues. 80% of his chips have gone elsewhere on this day. James thinks about what would have been as Croak approaching 300,000 chips. Nothing silly about that pot as Robert tries to get even for the day.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Tonight's bracelet moment brought to you by PokerNews.com. The 10K pot limit Hold'em championship came down to Andy Frankenberger and 8-time bracelet winner Phil Ivey. Frankenberger emerged victorious.
You know, winning a bracelet is just the most amazing experience, but beating Phil Ivey just makes it seem not even real. It's just a dream come true, and I couldn't be any happier right now.
That final table was part of Ivy's historic 12-day run. During that time, he made 5 final tables, notching a 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 8th. He didn't, however, win a bracelet, and that really stings your guy.
It does, but Lon, you know, 99% of players who come to the World Series don't make a final table here in their lifetime. Ivy made 5 in 12 days. It's remarkable. Of course, last year, Lamb made 4 final tables in a 5-event span he played, also remarkable.
Under the gun, David Randall with Queen Jack of spades, or should I say Jason Mercier's stunt double. A raise to 5,600. Then Lamb folds. Folded around 2. Britt, Chris Moorman on the Jack Links beef jerky hole cam. Ace-king off.
Moorman turned 27 years old today.
Happy birthday to Chris. Just a call with ace-king. Ben Hamnet with 2 kings. And from the cutoff, he just calls as well.
Boy, Hamnet does not re-raise with pocket kings. In a multiplayer pot, that's sneaky, and it can backfire.
David DeBoer in the small blind with ace-9. Calls for 4,400 more. Big blind Alan Curl will sit this one out.
See, in this 4-way pot, the pocket kings are actually going to lose more than 4 times out of 10.
All right, so here we go. 4-way action, as you mentioned. The flop is king 5-10. Hamnet's set of kings really disguised now after not raising pre-flop.
Yeah, not re-raising. Looks like it's going to work out pretty well for Hamnet now. Never mind.
DeBoer missed and checks. Randall is open-ended. He checks. Chris Moorman now has top pair and top kicker and bad luck.
Yeah, he's going to love top pair and top kicker at the moment.
Chips in hand, as usual.
14,500.
You heard him, 14,500.
Moorman just loves making bets where they have to give him change. He's change obsessed. By the way, Hamnet's glasses block the ultraviolet rays of the sun inside of the Rio.
And he shoves all in for over 58,000 with his set of kings.
That'll get rid of the shoe clerks and crumb bums.
Moorman with top pair, top kicker calls, but he's a 49-1 shot.
And Chris Moorman feels the pain of his 49-1 predicament.
Wow.
Boy, Hamnet really fooled everybody. Turn card. Jack of clubs. Moorman with a Broadway draw.
Well, Hamnet now looking to dodge a queen to double up.
I did. You did? Anybody else fold a queen?
Hamnet taking inventory on queens. And it is the 6 of spades on the river. Hamnet breathes a sigh of relief, and he gets to keep playing the game.
Moorman plays a lot of big pots. He's used to losing a lot of chips.
A double up and then some for Hamnet, over 144,000. But a cold deck takes a chunk out of Chris Moorman's stack. Nice birthday present, huh? Inside the Rio, a man making a major charge. Greg Merson from Laurel, Maryland, started the day with fewer than 20,000 chips. He's now over 650,000.
Maryland is the Vatican of poker. My home state is just one big cathedral of check and raise masterminds.
Back to the feature table action on David Randall. Looks down at 7-6 of diamonds.
I'd wager Randall has made an entire poker training video on 7-6 suited.
Under the guise of Jason Mercier, maybe. He raises to 5,600. Ben Lamb been pretty quiet at this table. On the button, Chris Moorman with 2 9s.
Moorman always looks like he's about to invent something, you know, like the light bulb or the electric toothbrush.
He calls for 5,600. Hamnet folds to the big blind. Ben Tollerane with Queen 9.
There's no future in Queen 9.
Well, he is a little bit desperate with only 59,000 chips. He calls.
Wait for Queen 10.
3-way action now. Jack 6-7. Tollerane misses. Randall with 2 pair 7s and 6s.
Randall has a poker training video, I believe, that recommends being aggressive when you flop bottom 2 pair.
13,400 worth of aggressive. Moorman now with the pocket 9s and behind.
And Randall, I believe, put in an exact change just now to try to tilt Chris Moorman.
And Moorman will have to do likewise with the call. Tollerane folds, so heads up. Turn card. Another Jack counterfeits Randall's 2 pair. Moorman's Jacks and 9s are best.
What an awful card for Randall. I believe it literally has frozen him.
David checks.
I believe Moorman is going to put out 5 orange chips and bet 24,500.
Chris Moorman. Oh, no. He's going to make it easy on Randall to call. Just 26,000 even.
Okay. Well, I believe Randall has a poker training video that suggests check folding in this exact situation.
He senses something is amiss, and he's correct. Bad luck for Randall, but smart laydown. Moorman takes the pot.
Seems like a bad turn card.
Good instincts from Randall as Moorman will drag that pot. Randall down a bit, but still with a very healthy stack.
You like that turn card?
Wasn't bad. Made things easy.
An ever-changing leaderboard here on day 3 has Ben Alkeber looking to be the first across 1 million chips. JJ Lowo in great shape in third. Randall among the top 10.
Look at that, 10 Americans. I thought I heard chants of USA, USA earlier in the Keno Lounge.
Every year, Hollywood celebrities and professional athletes enter the main event hoping their cards run hot.
Don't fold. Come on, we can have dinner together. Good luck, man. Seriously.
And every year, it's the same refrain.
That was a great experience. I'll definitely do that.
Is this year different?
Everyone agrees you got to get crazy lucky, play smart, and get crazy lucky. That's all.
Kevin Pollak has talking chips. And yep, he's talking.
What are you doing? You're asking for trouble.
And NHL goaltender Roberto Luongo is not letting too many pots get by him.
This is something that I've had a huge passion for over the years. And now that I'm here and I'm living it, it's very exciting, and I take it very seriously.
2 celebrities out of their comfort zone having the time of their lives. Chasing that bracelet. At the main event, anything is possible. Welcome to day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. With $8.5 million looming in the distance, 1,229 players return tonight. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Actor Kevin Pollak headlining the feature table.
Sometimes he's talking, walking, and sometimes he's walking and talking.
Pro Jason Somerville has stayed near the top of the leaderboard.
I am going to make this man smile sometime before the end of the main event, guaranteed.
Elsewhere at the outer tables, plenty of star power trying to become champ of the 43rd main event. Vanessa Selbst strikes fear in everyone.
I'm not scared of her. I just keep 15 poker tables between us at all times.
Roberto Luongo's poker game is gaining respect.
Yeah, but I'll play the guy heads up all day as long as we're not on ice.
And there is the current chip leader, 27-year-old Ben Alkeber.
From Chino Hills, California to 900,000 chips. Good job.
JJ Lowo continues to run well, and Ben Lamb's Panorama Towers neighbor David Randall currently in 7th.
Right now, the leaderboard is very young and very American.
All right, let's go down to Kara Scott right now, who is with actor Kevin Pollak.
Someone who's used to a little bit of lights, camera, action is Kevin Pollak. Coming here and sitting at the feature table, how much of poker is performance for you?
Well, you know, when I play a hand like Christopher Walken, then it's all performance, which has happened on several occasions, just to keep the troops entertained. Cameras or not, you know, they assume I'm acting in every hand, so I try not to. But sometimes it helps. I'm not going to lie to you.
I saw you talking with the table, you know, before everyone got seated. Is becoming friends with people there kind of part of the shtick, part of getting them on your side?
I'm inside their heads now. They can't get out. No, I own my boys now. They don't know what to do with these lights. They're freaking out. I'm in heaven. Hoo-ah!
Well, have fun out there. I'm sure you will. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Even though Kevin has an average-sized chip stack for the tournament, he has the most chips at this table.
Well, Kevin talks a lot and he acts a lot, but he doesn't play a lot of hands. He's tight, tight, tight. He's not giving away his chips.
30-year-old Alejandro Anaya has one of the short stacks at this table.
An amateur from Los Cabos, Mexico, in his first main event.
You're Kevin Spacey. No, I'm kidding.
Why you got to do me like that?
That was a joke.
First of all, his Christopher Walken pales in comparison. You can't hold my
Naya won a satellite against 21 friends to earn his seat to the main event. Now he's in the process of trying to beat 6,500 people he doesn't know.
Folded to Eric von Buxhoeften on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. He has Jack 10 of diamonds.
Through the miracle of science, von Buxhoeften has my head of hair from the summer of '83.
A 27-year-old who lives in Vienna with a raise to 6,000. Right now, with fewer than 1,300 players left in the main event, the chip average about 168,000. The blinds at 1,500 and 3,000. The ante is 400. Folded to Kevin Pollak, 10-8 of spades.
He min-raised my big, beautiful blind again.
Kevin does not appear to have a real captive audience in Von Buxhoeften.
I like it. I like it.
Over 3,000 more. Kevin Pollak, the 54-year-old, will make the call. All right, heads up. The flop, King 8-9, 2 diamonds. Pollak pairs his 8, but Von Buxhoeften is favored with an open-ended straight flush draw.
Well, if you're not going to bet a straight flush draw, you may as well be playing Go Fish in Poughkeepsie.
Pollak checked it, and Von Buxhoeften bets 4,000.
I'm glad he bet. There are no non-stops from Las Vegas to Poughkeepsie this late in the day.
Pollak comes along with a call.
Sometimes Kevin Pollak entertains with simple silence.
Turn card 10 of clubs, 2 pair for Pollak. Now he's a slight favorite. Von Buxhoeften missed his draws, but paired his 10. Kevin checked again, as does Von Buxhoeften. River card is a queen, and Von Buxhoeften gets there with the straight. Pollak first to act, his 2 pair no good, but he bets 12,000.
That's kind of a defensive bet from Pollak.
And just a call from Von Buxhoeften, and he'll take that pot.
Your straight's good, I got 2 pair.
Well, if you knew he had a straight, why'd you bet 2 pair? Comedians.
But an ugly card on the turn because
I guess you don't.
I can't really bet the turn.
Yeah, you can't lay down if I was going to push on the turn. Nice hand. Nice hand.
Yeah, if you push,
I'm betting like any other turn.
He was going to call all the way, Kevin. Kevin tosses
Nice
in his chips. Nothing like dragging in Hollywood money.
Eric Von Buxhoeften now approaching 100,000 chips.
Yeah. He loves to shove that stack. I think I got off cheap by only...
Kevin doing a post-mortem on the hand. He used to do this after his stand-up act at the Improv.
I don't know.
Tonight's feature and secondary tables offer a contrast in styles. At our feature table sits Hollywood actor Kevin Pollak. At our secondary table, young superstar Jason Somerville. We know what to expect poker-wise from Jason. From Kevin, not so much. At the main event, Hollywood usually delivers playful banter, a few great one-liners, but also many early exits. Tonight, Pollak tries to buck that latter trend, putting his skills, both comedic and poker, on full display.
Juan, I'm jealous of both these fellas. Kevin Pollak is funnier than me, and he might be better at poker than me. Jason Somerville has youth in front of him, and I know he's better at poker than me. So what does it all mean? It means that tonight we'll get both sides of the poker equation. A little entertainment and a lot of great play.
Jason Somerville has been near the top of the chip count throughout day 3, but the second biggest stack is just to his left.
Jason won his bracelet last year in a no-limit hold'em event, but when he got heads up, it lasted only 1 hand. That doesn't happen too often.
Kevin Song sits with almost 250,000 chips, and with nearly $3.5 million in career earnings, he cannot be ignored at this table. Action on 28-year-old Douglas Schroeder with pocket sixes.
He's an amateur from St. Louis. He works at a BMW dealership.
A raise to 8,000 on Kevin Song now, ace-8 of diamonds.
Song won his bracelet in a 1997 limit hold'em event. He beat a final table that included Eric Seidel, Huck Seed, and Barry Johnston.
And he comes along with the call.
Seat 6 calls 8,000.
You can never be too comfortable with your stack in the main event. A lot of short stacks, so wondering if they can survive to day 4 and make the money. So a lot of different strategies sitting at the table. In the small blind, Jason Somerville gives up his hand. At the big blind, Alessio Isaia from Italy, ace-5 off.
I like a guy who doesn't play a weak ace out of position. Thank you.
Yeah, and you like this man. So heads up, it'll be Schroeder and Kevin Song.
All right, guys, what will be heads up?
Song looking to catch something to catch up. 4 deuce 6, 2 diamonds. Schroeder with a set. Kevin Song with the nut flush draw.
That's an action flop like in the movies.
Schroeder, no slow play for him. He was the original raiser, bet 7,000.
Song finished 20th in the 2001 main event and 42nd in the 03 main event.
Definitely a player, as we have mentioned. Now lives back in South Korea after spending quite a while in LA. He raises to 17,500.
It's possible Schroeder is playing this hand without seeing his hole cards or the board. His hat is awfully low.
He re-raises.
All in. I call.
All in and snap call. It's Schroeder at risk, but ahead right now.
That went according to script. And Schroeder now a 3-1 favorite to double up to a healthy stack.
You see Kevin Song's outs looking for a diamond. The 6 of diamonds not in there. That would give Schroeder quads. All right, the turn card is a diamond, and Song wastes no time turning the net flush.
The percentages flop, and Schroeder now a 3-1 underdog to stick around.
Schroeder has outs. The 7 of hearts is not one of them. Douglas Schroeder knocked out as his main event has come to an end.
No cash for Schroeder. Kevin Song hoping for his 29th World Series cash at this main event.
Schroeder walking away, failing to secure his first ever World Series cash. Kevin Song gets stronger here on day 3 as Jason Somerville's control of this table is threatened. Welcome back to Las Vegas, day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event. At our secondary feature table, one of the rising stars in the poker world, 25-year-old Jason Somerville. Tough to read, willing to take risks, and very solid fundamentally.
He's an instructor at the Poker VT training site, and he has successfully adopted the small ball strategy taught to him by his buddy Daniel Negreanu. Likable fellow, but I wish he'd stayed in college and gotten his degree.
All right, let's watch Jason play a hand here at the secondary feature table. Folded to him, and he has the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand.
I already got a bad feeling.
Somerville with a raise to 6,000.
That's a min raise from the hijack seat. That tells me nothing. I'll go with D, Queen 10 suited.
Of all those choices, you go with D, Queen 10 suited.
By the way, that min raise, typical of the small ball game Somerville likes to play.
And it is catching on like wildfire. Folded to Kevin Song in the big blind, ace 7 off.
He's got a fatal attraction to the weak ace. It's like trying to date a redhead. They look appealing, but in the end, you've wasted $40 on dinner.
5-9-6, Song with a gut shot. First to act, reaching for chips.
Yeah, Kevin Song is going to represent a weak ace here.
Kevin reaching for chips of each color, 8,700.
Well, whatever Somerville's got, it's better than Song. A gives him top pair and a gut shot. B gives him a set of 5. C gives him middle pair. D gives him a flush draw. Raise him!
But you said D. Just a call.
Just a call? I have no idea what Jason has. I have no tells on a man who won't smile.
But you said D.
I know.
The board pairs. Kevin Song missed his straight draw and now checks.
Act like you have the best hand, son. But if he's got a flush draw, he missed it, so he doesn't have the best hand. I don't know. I wish he'd smile.
You said Queen 10 of hearts.
Yes! But I have no idea.
Somerville with chip. 16,500 is the bet.
Now he's betting. Would Somerville just call with a draw on the flop, then bet it on the turn when he's still not there? It's possible, but I'm feeling shaky.
Kevin Song, as we said, missed his straight, but he puts in 16,005.
Song's quite sticky here.
River card now, a pair of 7. Song pairs up.
By the way, no matter what happens in this hand, I am conceding defeat. I have no idea what's going on.
So safe to say he doesn't have Queen 10 of hearts. Song checks his pair of 7s.
Smile, buddy. If you smile, then maybe I'll say something less stupid than I'm saying right now.
All right, so Somerville putting chips in again, 18-5.
That's either a value bet or a value bet bluff.
Song with the call. Somerville shows 9-8 trips on the turn. A rivered straight to win the Jack Link's beef jerky wildcard hand.
And that confirms my standard moronic read of the hand.
It was not Queen 10 of hearts. Somerville approaching 500,000 chips in the 2012 main event.
That's right. And see, the redhead hand cost Song 50,000 chips.
Jason had given away some chips earlier, wins that pot, so he's finding his stride, something made a lot easier after a decision he made 6 months ago.
For a very long time, I had struggled with my identity and had kind of always felt like I didn't have to address that side of me if I wanted to be happy. You know, I eventually was lucky enough to meet my current boyfriend, Vincent Newland. He's a very strong person. When you meet him, like, you know for sure that he's gay. Half the time when he talks, rainbows come out of his mouth. Like, you know, you just you just know that he's gay. And with being around someone like that and wanting to respect our relationship, I have to be open too. So I wrote a blog post starting in January. It took me about a month to write. I posted it, and the reaction is great. Like, I honestly expected a mild reaction from the poker community, and instead what I got was an overwhelmingly positive reaction. I got like 1,000 messages in the 48 hours after I wrote the blog post, all of them supportive, like, and here I am, 6 months later, very happy now, for sure.
In his blog, Jason wrote that the lack of openly gay poker pros is bad, quote, reflective of community that isn't open to all when we actually are one of the most open communities, end quote. Bravo, Jason.
Starting the hand with a button, Michael Dentale, Brooklyn-born poker player, 3 World Series cashes. Action on Jason Somerville. Ace-Queen off. Ace-Queen worthy of a raise to 7,500. Jason looking for something strong to happen in this main event. He's only cashed for about 19,000 at this year's World Series so far. Action on Alessio Isaiah. Queen 6 into the muck. Adam Latimer took Douglas Schroeder's seat. He folds. Folded to the button. Michael Dentale.
What's the bet? 75?
Born in Brooklyn, attended Brooklyn College, lives in Brooklyn. I don't think he's ever been to any of the other 4 boroughs.
King 10 of hearts, and he makes the call.
In fact, this is the first time Dentale's ever been out of Brooklyn. Welcome to America, sir.
In the big blind, Joshua Sisak, King 8 of clubs. He's a 36-year-old nuclear power plant engineer.
Yeah, and he was born in Schenectady, New York, but now lives in New Jersey, a veritable world traveler compared to Michael Dentale.
For 4,500 more, he makes the call with a suited king. 3 players to the flop. Ace-Queen, King 10, King 8. Here's the flop, and it is 10-8-8. The big blind hits the flop big time. Sisak with trip 8s, and he checks.
He's sitting on it. I'm surprised. That's a draw-heavy board.
He is the short stack at this table. Now Somerville, who missed that flop, with the 2% hand. Bets 11,500. Dentale caught a pair of 10s in the flop.
Even the Dodgers left Brooklyn.
11,005 from Dentale. Sisak now with the big hand.
Mullen.
Moves all in for almost 59,000.
The check raise shove should thin the field.
Somerville gets out of the way to Dentale.
It's a lot of chips, man.
Dentale started the hand with over 300,000.
Big hand?
Yeah, he started the hand with 100 big blinds, so he can afford the call.
Can't see him having too big of a hand. I think he would have raised pre-flop.
Dentale with top pair weighing his options. Call and hope he's ahead or fold and move on to the next pot. His decision comes after the break. Day 3 of the World Series of Poker main event continues. We head back to the secondary featured table where Michael Dentale is figuring out whether to call Josh Sisak's shove after a flop. They gave Sisak trip 8s and Dentale a pair of 10s.
It's too bad bicep size doesn't help you win pots because then Dentale wouldn't be in this position.
He would be a world champ.
A call here represents about 16% of his remaining stack.
Let's hope you have diamonds.
Put in 8.
Nope, he's got trip. Sisak has been called, and he's in good shape for the double.
Let's see how good I run.
Sisak finished 284th at the 2010 main event, and in great shape to double up here through Dentale.
Turn card 5 of hearts, giving Dentale fresh outs, and Sisak heartburn, literally.
Where's the chart with all my outs? You don't have that little chart with all my outs up, up, up? How many more outs did I just get?
11 outs now to knock out Sisak.
The river card is a hard, and Sisak heartbreakingly knocked out of the main event by Michael Dentale.
Can't believe that happened, man. Good game, kiddo.
Brutal, brutal ending to Joshua Sisak's main event.
He was a big favorite when the chips went in, but the deck was not with him. Dentale scores the knockout.
Just like in real life, this always happens to me. Runner, runner.
It's pretty sick. I didn't expect that outcome.
Dentale dishes out the bad beat. 6,598 players entered this main event. About 80% have been eliminated. 666 will make the money, but the big money exchanges hands at the final table held October 29 and 30th at the Penn and Teller Theater. Ben Lamb was at that final table last year.
Last year was last year. This year is this year. He's hanging on with 12 big blinds.
Roberto Luongo might have a scheduling conflict if he makes the final table.
Actually, he could multi-table like Phil Ivey. You know, bounce between the Canucks game and the October 9. Hockey has 2 intermissions.
Sean Rice has a top 10 stack, but needs more if he wants to play in October.
15 million more should do it.
Rice sitting at the same table as Sean Deeb and Eric Lindgren, two of the heavyweights in the game doing battle right now. Lindgren turned a gut shot to a king high straight. Deeb flopped a 10 high straight. He's a big favorite. He checked the turn.
Lindgren, 31 World Series cashes. Deeb, 19 World Series cashes. Lindgren at 35, 9 years older than Deeb.
Eric bets 38,000.
Deeb, one of the online young guns who can play everything well, not just your garden variety, no-limit hold'em specialist.
Deeb with the made straight already. Just a call.
I saw Eric take a big gulp after Sean called.
Eric studying how Deeb moves, breathes, bets. River card, ace of clubs. Lindgren comes up empty. Deeb straight is best. He checks. Lindgren checks, and Deeb shows him the winning hand.
Yeah, straight should do it. At least Lindgren sensed not to bluff the river.
Eric failed to make the higher straight, and it's Sean Deeb stacking the chips. Sean, not the only Deeb in his family who won a pot at this main event. His grandmother Ellen played too, though it's her home game where she hones her skills.
I'm Ellen Pussiter Deeb. I'm Sean Deeb's grandmother, and I am 92. I was 5 or 6 when I started playing poker. The competition of playing with someone and beating them is what I like. I want it. You have to know how to read your cards. Check. And you have to know how to bluff. I'm raising. She won again. And you have to know your poker competitors. Figured you for an ace. Sometimes when I have something, I pass, and sometimes I have nothing, I'll bet. So they really don't know just what I've got. I'm all in. Playing in the World Series was one of my greatest experiences. The one that beat me came out and apologized for having done so.
Sean paid for his grandmother's main event seat the last 2 years. This year she got the honor of saying shuffle up and deal on day 1 and told everyone they were playing for second place.
Back at the feature table now, Eric von Buxhofen just called all in with aces, and he's in great shape to double up against Bruno Kawachi and his pocket tens. And the table sees the pain. Aces versus tens. All right, here's the flop. King, 10, Jack. There's a 10. Kawachi flops a set. Von Buxhoven's aces are cracking.
And he is allowed one last sip of water.
He does have a Broadway draw. Turn card now. Another Jack. Kawachi with a full boat, reducing Von Buxhoven's outs.
Only an ace or a jack saves Von Buxhoven.
The river card is the 8 of spades, and Kawachi will score the knockout, flopping a set, and Eric von Buxhoven takes his leave.
When you don't cash, it's always smart to take your water with you.
Nice hand.
With that pot, Kawachi approaching 200,000 chips. So Eric von Buxhoven eliminated on day 3. His bad beat story will start like many others. I was all in with aces, and the desert at night. There's more than just the strip here in Las Vegas. New to the feature table, recent Arizona State graduate Greg Milliron.
Me, my big mouth.
You look very familiar. I want to say movies or something, right? I want to say.
Let's go movies for 400. And the answer is?
They didn't bring us over here because of the rest of us, that's for sure.
Bing,
they
bing,
let us
bing,
go play in the
bing,
street.
bing.
Greg immediately becomes the chip leader at this feature table with over 300,000. Kevin Pollak still sitting with an average-sized chip stack.
Nothing else about Kevin Pollak is average lawn, above average comedian, above average impersonator, above average actor in movies like A Few Good Men, The Usual Suspects, and The Wedding Planner.
Have you heard his William Shatner impression?
Oh,
spot on.
Gold!
Fold to 2, Kevin, with Queen 8 offsuit. And Kevin with a raise to 6,000.
I said he was tight, but he opens it up here with Queen 8 off, min raise.
Blind still at 1,500 and 3,000. Keating folds to Alejandro Anaya. Queen Jack offsuit from the big blind.
Anaya has never seen any of Kevin Pollak's TV or film work. In fact, he thinks Kevin is a limo driver.
Anaya from Los Cabos, Mexico. From the big blind makes the call for $3K more. Heads up with the Hollywood poker playing Kevin Pollak. Queen, 6-9, top pair for both. Anaya has the better kicker.
7.
Anaya checks. Pollak bets 7,000.
Kevin does bet it, but if this were the movies, he'd ask for a retake on the flop.
Anaya works in timeshare sales down in Mexico, which, if you've ever been there, it seems like everybody is employed in that business. He, with a check raised now, 10,000 more.
And that raise could be a wake-up call for Pollak. Then again, maybe he thinks Anaya's on a draw.
Pollak puts out 15,000 more. It's less than a legal raise.
10 more, right? That was meant as a call, sorry.
He raised 10 more.
No, he raised me 10 more. I mean, you can get whatever the ruling is.
And he's obligated to make a minimum raise.
And comedians are not good with money. Shecky Green was always looking to borrow a few bucks.
Anaya calls the raise with 10,000 more.
Nice angle, Kevin.
Yeah. You got to work everyone you know.
Anaya could have seized the moment and re-raised, but he did the polite thing there.
A 7 on the turn. Anaya a 3-1 favorite with the jack kicker. Kevin picks up an open-ender.
Anaya has a business administration degree, an amateur who is an aspiring poker professional.
And the chips in hand. A rather small bet, 21,400.
Yeah, Pollak with top pair and a straight draw. He's not going anywhere. Kevin's even getting the right pot odds to call here.
And there is the call. So a pot of almost 114,000. River card 10 of diamonds. Pollak gets very lucky. Runner, runner straight. Anaya now checks. Pollak immediately grabs a bunch of the orange chips worth 5,000 each and bets 40,000.
Value bet from Pollak. He never would have value bet Robert De Niro if they played poker in casino.
Oh, bad things happen when you do that.
8.
Yeah, Anaya trying to figure out what he can beat. The thing is, he figures Pollak is not bluffing here, whatever it is.
Well, Anaya seems to be in fold mode, but he hates to give up the hand. Shows a queen and folds.
You're going to be happy.
Uh-oh.
You're going to be happy.
You got a 9
Not
and
only
an
did
8.
I have one of those, but I had one of these.
Well, one of those was good, but one of these wasn't.
Not a bad run out.
Look at that 10 on the river. That crazy damn 10. It's ruled every hand here. Big laydown. How bad was your kicker? Must have been bad. That's a big laydown. Wow.
It was a good laydown and saved Anaya from even more damage.
In fact, I think
Close.
if you watch, like,
Nice hand.
that's kind of
Nice suck out is what it was.
Kevin gets lucky. Here to weigh in on that hand are Phil Locke and Antonio Esfandiari in tonight's installment of Pro Analysis.
This hand is all about micro moments. Alejandro seized the micro moment where Kevin was trying to call but accidentally raised. Well, this was an opportunity missed, in my opinion.
Right, and in poker, it's very rare that you get an opportunity like this, where your opponent, Kevin in this particular case, throws in the wrong amount of chips. Perfect opportunity to exploit that and re-raise. Doesn't matter if you have top pair jack kicker or nothing.
Yeah, even if Alejandro had air and he was in this spot, once he sees that moment, he should just seize it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Action on Mark Telcher. There you see the players and their chip stacks for the secondary feature table. Telcher with 10-8 offsuit.
He's a 32-year-old London trader and a heck of a poker player.
From the button, a raise to 7,200. King Jack offsuit in the small blind, Cameron Somsky, and he gives it up. Jason Somerville with the big blind and a weak ace. He's going to defend.
And now Jason's going to take the redhead out for a stroll down loser's lane.
All right, heads up. Telcher, 10-8 against ace-7, king 4-9. Ace-high is best for Somerville. He checks.
Telcher looks like a prize fighter waiting for the opening bell to ring.
He has almost $3 million in live poker earnings. And he'll continue, it appears. And there it is, 11,500.
There's a bluff that should end matters.
Somerville, though, will come along.
Boy, check call from Jason. I don't know about that.
Turn card now. It's a 7. Somerville pair of 7s, up and down straight draw for Telcher. Jason checks again.
Now picking up a straight draw, Telcher might fire another barrel of 10 high hooey.
It is 23,300 worth of hooey.
By the way, Jason's chip configuration is mesmerizing. I think it's some type of visual hocus pocus to scramble opponents' minds.
It has done it for me. Somerville with another call.
Telcher's thinking, no problem. Help!
River card is an ace. Somerville, River's ace is up. And Jason, who was checked twice before, checks a third time.
Wow, why would Jason think Telcher's going to bet again here? Oh.
Because...
Maybe he's going to?
He just might, yeah. Oh, look at this. Wow, 33,000 and a snap call.
You're good.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, the other guy has aces up, and I believe you have 10 high. Yeah, he is good.
People wonder how pros collect big stacks. Sometimes they just hand it over. Telcher down to 181,000. Somerville building his stack to 533,000. Jason was ahead the whole way and got maximum value from his weak ace. The kid from Long Island continues to climb the leaderboard. More from day 3 of the main event after this. Back at the World Series of Poker main event, Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. We get a look at the end of a big hand Vanessa Selbst just played. She got it all in on the turn with a flush drawn gut shot against Felipe Morbiducci. And if you don't get it in good, you better be lucky. And Vanessa was very lucky. The 7 of clubs gave her a flush, and she stays alive in the main event with over 500,000 chips. So the chip average over 188,000. The chip leader, young Ben Greenberg from Boulder, Colorado, with 1,051 players left at the featured table. Kevin Pollak has a better than average chip stack. It's been folded to him in the small blind with pocket 5s.
He started playing poker seriously while filming Casino. 20 weeks of long shooting days at the Riviera here in Las Vegas.
And Pollak calls from the small blind for 1,500 more. Bruno Kawachi in the big blind with 8-5 off.
26-year-old Brazilian pro. He does not know who Kevin Pollak is either. Actually, he thinks he might be Hume Cronin.
Kawachi with a raise to 8,000, sensing weakness.
You guys see these?
Kevin maybe not as comfortable now with pocket 5s. Or maybe doing a little acting.
It's been known to do that.
I couldn't remember. I wasn't being a I hate folding when I'm ahead. But you've not played a hand in a long time. Tell them I'm ahead. Tell them.
You're ahead.
An honest kid.
But a raise with 8-5 will win that pot.
Nice hand, sir.
Thank you.
You waited so long to play, you know, even though it was you're just protecting your big blind.
Even in defeat, Kevin Pollak is friendly, a practice he also continues with every new dealer at his table.
Drama begins. Biz, how are you?
How's it going?
Alan,
How you doing?
how are you? Do you like the bowl?
I like ballroom dancing.
Ballroom dancing?
Yep.
You're my hero. I'm a hoofer at heart. I kick it old school. What's the name? What's your name? Bradley, I'm Kevin. How are you? Nice to meet you, sir. I'm the biggest tipper, in case I hadn't told you already. Austin. Welcome, Austin. Where are you from, Austin?
I am from Southern California.
Southern California?
Yes, sir.
Can you be more general?
California, sir.
Nice. Nicely done.
Kevin's got the right idea with the dealers, and let me remind everyone, the dealers do a great job, and it is a tough, thankless job.
So why don't you tip them?
Good for you.
Folded around to the small blind, Lance Keating with pocket jacks. 37-year-old business owner from Indiana with a raise to 7,200. Now in the big blind, Alejandro Anaya. Anaya wakes up with kings.
Uh-oh. Pocket jacks. The Lon McCarron Memorial hand is about to get buried.
So Keating opens for a raise in the small blind. Always suspicious if you're in the big blind, and here's a re-raise all in from Anaya.
With 30 big blinds left, I don't blame him.
Anaya with 91,300 in the middle.
Wow. What is happening?
You have pocket jacks, and they never win. This is blind versus blind. Chances are Anaya's hand isn't as big as it is.
Only one hand I'm ahead of, and that's tens.
Keating senses he's behind. Wow.
He should have sensed that earlier. And he gives up the jacks, becoming one of my poker heroes.
I had jacks.
Lance Keating.
Very nice fold. We both hate pocket jacks, but I don't know how Keating knew to muck them.
Anaya takes that small pot, a missed opportunity perhaps with those kings. A startling but correct fold from Keating with the jacks.
Wow. What is happening?
Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Iranian-born former poker dealer Ashkan Razavi had to defeat Amanda Musumeci to win the $1,500 no-limit hold'em re-entry event.
I'm stoked. I'm really happy. It's amazing.
One of the top Player of the Year candidates, John Manette, took the title in the 5K stud event. And Vincent van der Vloot became just the fourth Dutch player to snag a World Series bracelet, winning the $1,500 pot limit Omaha tournament. Roughly twice the size of New York City at 17 million people, the Netherlands has won a World Series bracelet in 4 of the last 5 years. Notably absent from the list, Marcel Lusk.
But Marcel still is alive and kicking at this main event.
To our secondary featured table, under the gun is Kevin Song. He has 6 World Poker Tour cashes for over $158,000. 8-4 of clubs is what he is contemplating.
Not a particularly strong 2012 World Series for South Korea, just 3 total cashes, 2 of them from Kevin Song.
Song with a raise to 6,500 with 8-4 of clubs. Dentale with ace-queen. And the Brooklyn poker player calls.
Well, his favorite hand is pocket jacks, Lon, and now he's playing ace-queen. If I'm in a hand, you know I don't have pocket jacks or ace-queen ever. You have my word.
To Jason Somerville with ace-king. And he just calls.
Somerville playing ace-king passively.
On the button on the Jack Link Speed Jerky hole, cam 9-8 of spades for Alessio Isaia.
25-year-old Italian pro with a WPT title, and he's made 3 World Series final tables. That's a pretty nice shirt.
And he just calls. Small blind folds. Latimer in the big blind gets out of the way, so Kevin Song gets some respect, but he does get 3 tag-alongers to the flop. Nobody re-raised him. 4 players. 10, Jack, 10. Song with a big whiff.
4 players to this flop. None of them has a jack or a 10?
None of them. A check from Song. Dentale with Broadway draw number 1 checks. Somerville with Broadway draw number 2. And as we've seen, Norman, when it's checked to Jason, he likes to bet. 12,000.
12,000.
Isaiah with an up and down straight draw.
That shirt could use a little ironing.
He had a sweater on, got under the lights at the featured table, took the sweater off, and now folds. Song sees only 1 club in the flop, and he gets out of the way.
Now Dentale with this ace-queen, and you can see the type of trouble ace-queen gets you into. If I were him, I would never leave Brooklyn. I would never play ace-queen.
He calls.
Me and you again.
Heads up, they each need the other's kicker to make Broadway, and Jason does just that. Isaiah would have turned an inferior straight had he stuck around. Dentale checked, top pair and his draw.
When Jason bets, he's got to make sure he doesn't take chips out of the wrong stack, or else his whole thingy comes tumbling down.
He bets 24,000.
It's hard for Dentale to get away from this. He's got queens and 10s, plus he's drawn to Broadway.
Got something good, Jason?
Pretty good.
If I fold, you show me?
I'll think about it.
Sounds like a congressman in training.
Dentale gives it up.
Good fold.
Jason wins it.
I'll let you pick one. How about that?
Anyone.
Either one?
Anyone.
It's the ace.
What was it? I didn't know which was which.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was a flip.
If you show one, you should show both. That was our old kitchen table rule.
So Jason Somerville adds to his prodigious chip stack as Dentale takes a small hit here at the secondary feature table. Let's get to an outer table now and catch up with four-time bracelet winner Daniel Negreanu. Both he and Mattis Dilpsis have ace-high. Negreanu, though, with a better kicker, holds a big advantage after the turn.
Daniel loves listening to ABBA.
Check to him, and Negreanu checks. River card, a king, so each with ace-high. Negreanu with a better kicker.
Dilpsis, a 22-year-old Lithuanian pro.
He's going to try to buy it. His only avenue to success here, 7,500.
Negreanu just with ace-high. But Daniel's thinking about it. I guess he figures Dilpsis either hit a flush or has nothing.
Negreanu reconstructing the hand. Calls. And his ace-high will beat Dilpsis' ace-high.
Daniel's got the better ace, and ABBA rocks.
So Negreanu picks up a pot of 33,000, moves his chip stack to almost 143,000, still below chip average. Dilpsis in even more trouble, down to 63,000.
Will you sign my t-shirt?
Absolutely. Look at that. Patience over knowledge equals results.
No, here.
Where'd you make? Oh, right here on the shirt. You gotta open it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Daniel doesn't take pen caps off.
Daniel makes a good call, signs an autograph. Such is the life of Daniel Kid Poker Negreanu as he remains alive in the 2012 World Series of Poker Main Event. We are about to crack the 1,000 player mark here on day 3. 666 will make the money, so still quite a ways to go for this group out there still playing. Ben Alcober taking another turn at the top of the leaderboard.
From Chino Hills to the top of the main event hills. Good job by the 27-year-old.
Maria Ho, the last woman standing in 07, has almost 268,000.
She has 5 cashes at this World Series, 16 in her career.
Canucks goaltender Roberto Luongo just doubled up to over 116K.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I saw him make an incredible glove save at the Rio Buffet earlier this morning.
Stop the biscuit. All right, back to our secondary feature table. Jason Somerville, top dog there with over 550,000. Folded to Kevin Vandermissen, poker pro from Belgium with pocket sevens, a raise to 6,600. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam, Adam Latimer folds Trey Deuce. Now Song on the button. 10-5. Folds to Michael Dentale in the small blind, Jack 10 of diamonds, and for 5,100 more he calls. In the big blind, Mark Telcher, Queen 5 of clubs.
How much are you playing?
150-ish.
Making a move with rags.
Oh, yeah, Telcher with the re-raise to 29,200, reopening the action from the big blind.
Telcher trying an old-fashioned squeeze play here.
Vandermissen gets rid of his sevens.
Telcher's halfway home. He got the best hand to fold. Now he wants Dentale to release, though Telcher actually has a better hand.
Dentale calls for over 22,000 more with the Jack 10 suited.
Dentale, not a believer.
The Queen 5 against Jack 10, the flop. 8-6 ace. Telcher still good. Dentale leading into the razor with Jack high, 30,000.
Dentale representing an ace. Boy, Telcher always looks like he's about to pummel someone.
Telcher showed strength pre-flop.
I'm all in.
And that's showing strength post-flop here, all in for over 142,000.
Well, you actually have a hand for once?
No, he doesn't. He just has steel nerve, the bluff shove. Of course, nothing like bluff shoving with the best hand.
Ace reg again?
Dentale just posturing here. He's got to fold Jack high.
that I can't call.
And he will fold, finally giving up his hand, and Telcher will win it and show.
I know you have nothing, believe me.
He showed the queen of club, five of club.
Trust me when I say I know you have nothing.
Telcher hoping to tilt Tentali there.
But to be 100% honest with you, and I won't lie to you, your queen high was winning.
Really?
I give you my word.
I believe you.
So a gentlemanly admission from Dentali. To an outer table now, a clash of poker titans. As Ben Lamb was all in pre-flop, he's looking for a card that will save his tournament against Chris Moorman.
Lamb's got to have a 5 or Moorman will bust the 2011 World Series Player of the Year.
The river card is the Jack of Diamonds, and that will do it. Ben Lamb gone from the 2012 main event.
1 year later, Ben Lamb comes back to earth. A quiet World Series this year for Lamb.
No cashes for Lamb at this World Series in Las Vegas. 8 events last year, 5 cashes with a Player of the Year honors, as you mentioned. The end of every day at the main event is a scramble. Players anxious to chip up to avoid elimination.
No!
To make day 4.
That's what I'm talking about, baby! That's what I'm talking about!
And while 973 stressful stories unfold around him,
I guess I could smile, I'm still here.
someone is having the time of his life.
Back in the saddle again. I'm a Jewish Superman, so I'm Superman.
I like to be class clown at the table also. I'm messing around, I'm calling hands as Christopher Walker.
Hello. Welcome to table 407. You can feel the excitement.
He's not one of the main event's usual suspects, but that's what may make him dangerous.
Sweet Lord, it's a king. What are the chances?
Yeah! Welcome to the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Day 3 is just a short time away from turning into day 4, and there are lots of moves to be made. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott, and we get a look at Gaelle Baumann, the chip leader at the start of this day 3.
Not many women playing in this year's main event, but the ones who are here are playing quite well.
Jason Somerville fighting to keep his name among the leaders.
The 25-year-old hoping small ball leads to a very large paycheck.
Two-time bracelet winner Vanessa Selbst has doubled her stack on day 3.
The pride of Yale Law School, the legal eagle, is a card shark.
Danny Johnson will be featured in Mike Check.
He's 26, he's from Hawaii, and he's a tad different than most mainland types.
Watch yourself. Shake it fast, but watch yourself.
JJ Lowo has chips, and both his parents have PhDs.
Wow, my parents don't have PhDs. Maybe that's why I never have chips.
Current chip leader Ben Greenberg closing in on $1 million.
And what a gamer he is, playing with a broken bone in his left hand.
So Greenberg in first, JJ Lowo in third. 974 players remain, chasing $8.5 million.
JJ Lowo is the wild card in there. The amateur among rounders is very aggressive.
As day 3 wraps up, it's important to remember one of poker's maxims: a tournament can only be won at the final table. Well, day 3 presents many risk and reward opportunities, but to get to day 8, you need to make day 4. Tonight, we'll move around the Rio, trying to catch up with the ever-changing leaderboard and see who is wisely using their time at the end of day 3.
On day 3, the leaderboard is a work in progress. One big hand can put you on top, one bad hand can send you to the parking lot. While contenders and pretenders fill the Rio, one player who isn't checking the chip counts is Hollywood actor Kevin Pollak. He's too stressed out. He told us that his 22-hour filming days on The Usual Suspects were cake compared to the pressure of the main event. And yet here he is on day 3, sort of enjoying every moment. I just hope he doesn't lose any more hair.
We may never know about that as long as he employs the plaid cap. Let's take a look at Pollak's feature table. Aside from Greg Milliron, Pollak doesn't have too much to worry about, Norman.
Actually, he should worry about himself. He told me he's literally scared to play a hand, so he needs to loosen up a little.
Milliron sits across the table from Kevin, certainly a student of the game with a chip stack about twice the average stack.
He's also a student of business, a recent graduate from Arizona State.
All right, let's get it to our featured table. The blinds at 2 and 4,000. The ante is 500 right now. Players at this table have shown that they're having fun with Kevin Pollak, actor-comedian, hosted Celebrity Poker Showdown for a short bit. Kevin on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole, Cam with Ace-Jack.
He actually hates tournaments, hardly ever plays them. He's a cash game player through and through.
9.
Raise to 9,000.
And he's going to make a min raise plus 1,000, raise to 9,000 from Pollock.
You know, if an actor-comedian wins this thing, the main event is going to be overrun by the Wayans brothers next year.
That would double the size of the tournament right there. Greg Milliron in the small blind with King-Jack offsuit.
The kid is new to the table, so let me advise him. If Kevin Pollock raises from early position, you should be folding King-Jack offsuit.
He calls for 7,000.
He's a kid with a dream.
Big blind fold, so heads up, Milliron and Pollock. Pollock with the bigger jack. Here's the flop tray. Ace for top pair for the actor born in San Francisco. Milliron checks. Pollock bets 11,000.
Okay, King-Jack was so-so before the flop. Now it's below so-so after the flop. I'm trying to help the kid. It's not like he went to Yale.
The ASU grad seeking his first World Series cash. He is the chip leader at this table. But he will fold to Kevin Pollock.
Oh, Kevin flashes a little friendliness.
And so Kevin Pollock up to over 223,000.
Glad I didn't see a jack on the flop.
Would it cost you a little?
Oh, would it cost me?
What happened there? I didn't
Pollock takes the small pot from Milliron, a slightly different type of opponent than he finds in his Hollywood home game.
Riley, everybody. Riley. I've actually played in Hollywood home games probably since I moved to LA almost 30 years ago. I only started hosting my own weekly game about 2 years ago. Everyone shows up around 7 o'clock for some food, and then cards in the air about 7:30. And then the laughs begin. You know what I've come to do recently? To sing lyrics as Johnny Carson. Mama say, mama say. That was great banter. You got to bring it, you know? I think I have to pay you off. 2 pair. Oh, no! Tonight, sitting to my right, the wonderful Rob Riggle. Riggs, you just get done working on something?
Just the ESPYs.
Oh, how was that? He just hosted the ESPYs. Doug Benson, a great comedian. And then Stephen Collins on my left, famous, wonderful actor that people love as well. So, one comedian to help kind of loosen things up with me, and then the rest of them very serious, annoying actors. I did not know that. What makes the home game the most successful, at least one of my friends loses more than he wanted to. That makes me very, very happy.
Kevin graciously invited me to his home game. I declined. Then he insisted I come when I told him how bad of a no-limit hold'em player I am.
So, there's a family of polar bears. They're at dinner one night.
Are you making this up on the go or what? Are you making this up on the go or
No.
what?
Don't be crazy, Nick. This is it's a documentary.
So what about this family of polar bears?
The youngest polar bear, when they're all gathered for supper, says to his parents, "Are you sure we're polar bears?" The father, of course, says, "Yes. Yes, Junior, we're polar bears." No sweat. A week or so later, they gather for supper again.
This story better pick up. We're losing viewers to the Polar Bear Channel.
Once again, the youngest polar bear asks the parents, "Are you sure, for goodness sake, mother and father, that we're polar bears?" $9,000.
He's going to raise and tell the joke.
Father polar bear says yes. For goodness sake, yes, we're polar bears.
Lance Keating's wondering if Kevin's telling the polar bear story to put him on tilt.
A week or so later,
Keating calls.
they gather for supper once more, and the youngster says, "Are you sure? Are you completely sure that we're polar bears?" The father slams down his giant paw and says, "Yes. Your mother is a polar bear. I'm a polar bear. Your siblings are all polar bears. Why do you keep asking?"
He tells jokes and flops top pair.
Well, I love Kevin, but if you can't deliver the punchline before the flop, you've got to shorten the joke.
11.
11,000 from Kevin Pollak.
The young polar bear says, because I'm freezing my off.
Kevin's dying in here. And Keating's considering check raising Kevin just to punish him for the polar bear joke.
6 high for Keating. Is he going to call? He does.
Boy, the polar bear bit has put Keating on tilt.
Turn card. 10 of diamonds. Keating drawing dead now, and he checks.
By the way, that's a great polar bear joke. It just needs a different audience at a better time.
16,000 from the comedian. And Keating finally gives up a street too late.
It's that damn 10.
Kevin shows his hand. And Kevin also probably wondering what went wrong with the polar bear joke.
You see, I should have reiterated that last question. Are you sure for polar bears? Yes, yes. Why do you keep asking? I think that was the part that got lost in the betting.
I think
when the father said, why do you keep asking?
I personally was so amazed that you were just playing the hand like nothing while telling this joke in a Christopher Walken tone that I was so amazed.
He was not amazed at all, by the way.
He didn't hear a thing you said.
Nope.
He just saw the 11,000 you tossed out there.
And Kevin Pollak gets paid off for the joke and for having the best hand. Into the sea of tables we go. Let's catch up with the champion of the big one for one drop, Antonio Esfandiari with pocket eights. He just called the all-in of silly bands inventor Robert Croak holding ace-queen off.
The magician in massage knockout mode.
Dun, 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 dun. Is it heads or tails?
The entrepreneur in hoodie stormy weather mode.
You want heads or tails?
Boy, it made you even better.
You want tails? I want heads.
You do?
Yeah. Heads, Matt. Capiche? You know what heads looks like, right? You can imagine 8 deuce deuce, that's heads. Ace deuce 3, it's tails. You don't want tails. Punish him.
Croak looking to double up. No ace, no queen for Croak.
That flop is more heads than tails.
Antonio going for another knockout.
Jack of hearts would be interesting.
Turn card a deuce. Croak may be down to his last main event moment.
Definitely heads. Robert Croak is going to need an ace or a queen, or he is gone.
The river card, tray of diamonds, and another day 3 casualty falls by the wayside.
Nice playing, Doctor.
Antonio calls everyone doctor. I wonder what he calls his doctor.
Magicians use buzzsaws, right, Norman?
Yes, they do.
All right, well, with that knockout of Robert Croak here on day 3, I dub Antonio the Buzzsaw Magician as he continues to build his stack here in the main event. The 43rd edition of the World Series of Poker Main Event continues right now. The 5th largest field ever started on day 1, and by the end of this night, we should be close to the money bubble. Back to the outer table now of Antonio Esfandiari. He bet 13,500 with a gut shot to a 6-high straight. David Tuchman has pocket 7s and a gut shot to a 7-high straight.
Two of poker's TV voices battling again. Tuchman, a veteran poker broadcaster.
3 hearts came out on the flop. Antonio bet 13-5 and Tuchman then made the call. Turn card now. Another 5. Tuchman still ahead. Antonio, 2-time World Series bracelet winner, bets 36,000.
Antonio's hitting blanks and firing bluffs. Tuchman takes longer to act than most because he's broadcasting the hands in his head as we go along. Lon, you couldn't do that.
I couldn't come anywhere close to what David Tuchman does. A 40-year-old counting out some of the orange chips. And there's a call.
Antonio putting a lot of pressure on Tuchman in this hand, though probably not as much pressure as the masseuse is putting on him.
The river card, 10 of hearts, a 4th heart on board, misses Antonio, so the pocket 7s of Tuchman are best.
Well, we've told you before, Antonio usually isn't bluffing when he bets the river. This time he's bluffing from here to Tehran.
86,000, and he will test Tuck.
Yeah, Tuck goes to the self-massage when he's faced with a tough decision.
Oh, he didn't win $18 million, so he can't afford the masseuse all day like Antonio.
Well, the $18 million poker TV analyst trying to scallywag the poker TV broadcaster.
Something tells me I'm good. What do you think?
You're good, but if the magician's bet makes you fold, he's better.
Tuck has the right idea.
Well, Dave's either going to make a speech, do some yoga, or maybe act on his hand.
He calls. Antonio shows him ace deuce.
Well, one poker voice trumps the other. Nice call, David Tuchman.
And Tuchman will take that pot as he smelled something fishy coming from Antonio, and he was right.
Well, the scary thing about Tuchman's call, even if Antonio was bluffing the whole way, he could have made a flush on the river with any heart in his hand.
So Tuchman up to almost 420,000 chips after that gutsy call on the river against one of the game's best.
No one's going to tell me.
Should have gone all in.
And Antonio sits with a little shorter stack now. All right, let's move over to the secondary featured table. Check in on bracelet winner Jason Somerville. He is the chip leader at this table with almost 553,000. He told us earlier that the main event brings out the best in every player.
There's just a different feel here at the Rio. Like I've played, hundreds of World Series events in my life, and none of them have the buzz of the main event. There's just like a whole different atmosphere, a whole different energy here at the Rio that you just don't get with other events. Like there's something special about the main event. Just how many people are here, and everyone's like trying their hardest and playing their best, and there's just so much money. Obviously at the end of the rainbow, it's just awesome. It's a great thing to be a part of.
The main event remains a wonder, and it's a World's Fair. More than 80 nations represented this year. I just met maybe the first player ever here from the Marshall Islands, Ace Dulatram, the Marshall Islands line.
And as you saw, 6 countries represented at just this secondary featured table. Jason Somerville is the chip leader here and has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. And he will raise it to 10,500. There are your choices, Norman.
Under the gun 1, raising 2.5 times the big blind. I will go with suited connectors again. D, 10-9 of hearts.
All right, over to Kevin Song with pocket 10s in the cutoff position.
Of course, I could be wrong. Most days I'm wrong within 15 minutes after waking up.
Song with a re-raise to 27,000, and now Somerville. Jason makes the call.
Well, I'm going to eliminate B, 5-4 suited right now forever. Jason wouldn't call that 3-bet with that hand.
All right, here is the flop. 7-6 Jack Rainbow. No improvement to Song's pocket 10s. Jason checks.
Well, now I'm eliminating A. Jason would have bet top pair, top kicker.
No A, no B. King of Hearts on the turn.
Boy, I'm surprised Song didn't C-bet his pocket 10s.
Somerville checked the king, and so does Kevin Song. Jack of Hearts on the river, 2 pair for Song, 10s, and the Jacks on board.
Well, looks like Jason is going to bet. I've already eliminated A and B.
40,500.
I think Jason would have checked pocket 9s right here. So he's made the flush, or he is bluffing. I'm sticking with D, 10-9 for the flush.
All right. Kevin Song hopes he guesses correctly, and he calls, and Somerville had D, 10-9 of hearts for the flush. Well done, Norman.
I played that hand better than Kevin Song. He might have won it on the flop with a bet, and I told you what Jason had. Who's your Jack Link's wild card daddy, huh?
Jason wins a nice pot and the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, while Kevin Song may be thinking he gave a free pass for Somerville to score the winning hand, handing Jason over 20% of his stack. More to come from the 2012 World Series of Poker main event. It's the crown jewel of poker, the World Series of Poker main event, and the bracelet that comes with it. Each day brings more clarity to the main event, and as we near the end of day 3 here, there are relative unknowns in the poker world who are making some noise. One of those players is an amateur from Houston, Texas. Kara Scott has more.
AJ Jedjaloo is a self-confessed serious amateur player. He was born in England and moved to the U.S. as a child, and he now lives in Houston, Texas, working as a medical researcher. He had his first big live result when he won the World Series of Poker circuit event in New Orleans last May for over $200,000 against a really tough field. At the moment, he's currently one of our chip leaders. He says he likes playing with the big stack because he's primarily a cash game player, and it gives him a little bit more room to get creative. When I asked him if he had any thoughts of going pro, he said, "We'll see on day 7.
AJ has a degree from Johns Hopkins, a great school in the state of Maryland, and at the table, he is a self-described urban aggro. That's different than regular aggro or hyper aggro. His is a whole nother level of creative aggression.
At an outer table holding ace-king suited, AJ just called the all-in of short stack David Pendleton. He holds 8-7 off. He's a retired plumber, also from Houston.
Pendleton only had 4 big blinds left when he pushed here.
All right, here's the flop. Deuce, Jack, Queen. Pendleton misses that. AJ with a Broadway draw. AJ's ace high is the best hand right now. Turn is a 5 of spades. No help to Pendleton.
Pendleton needs an 8 or a 7 or he's done.
The river card, the 4 of diamonds, and David Pendleton comes up short, bids his farewells. All his chips go to JJ Lowo.
Easy pickings that time for JJ Lowo.
His stack up to almost 890,000 now late here on day 3. As we roam the Amazon room searching for emerging stories, it became impossible to ignore Danny Johnson. And you'll quickly find out why.
Yeah, I play college basketball. Wouldn't really call myself a player, more as like a bench rider who just loved life. Don't do it.
You must piss so many people off.
Oh my God, if you're over 50, you hate me. Literally past 11 o'clock, you want to kill me. We need catheters. We should have like a poker catheter. Celebration. Oh wow. Awfully tight pants you got there. Awfully tight pants. But I have aces. I have the birds, bro. But I should have flatted because I'm a fish. Can't believe I'm such a nit. Honestly, can't believe it. Oh, I missed it. Defense. Sorry, guys. Gotta be serious. Can't have fun at the World Series. I'm 0 for 2. I'm fading away.
Danny says if you're over 50, you hate him, and past 11 p.m., you want to kill him. Something tells me that some folks under 50 also hate him, and even before 11 p.m., you're thinking nasty thoughts about him.
All right, let's get back to the featured table. A hand already underway. Greg Milliron in the plaid shirt. Open raise to 8,500 with pocket sixes under the gun. He is the chip leader at this featured table. With ace-king off, Nicholas Carrillo re-raised. Milliron then called for 13,000 more. Carrillo with a huge advantage now after flopping a pair of aces. Both players checked the flop. Jack of hearts came on the turn. Milliron will bet it. 22,500.
Carrillo just seems somewhat uncomfortable with his hand. Top pair, top kicker with a gut shot to the nut straight. Apparently ain't what it used to be.
Well, he's got chips in hand and a call from Carrillo.
Milliron can't like that.
River card. 5 of diamonds hits neither. Carrillo's pair of aces is best. 3 diamonds on the board.
Milliron is going to stab at it again.
Boy, he is relentless. Well, he didn't collect all those chips by being timid. That's 45,000 with his small pocket pair.
And Carrillo still looks uncomfortable. But I would think this is what he wants. I mean, if you check that flop, one would think he's trying to induce Milliron to bluff, and Milliron has obliged on the turn and on the river.
Carrillo started the hand with almost 300,000 chips, but will finish it with about 50,000 less as he folds.
Deuces. Deuces?
A well-timed bluff on the river earns Milliron the pot. Let's hear what Joe Navarro thought about Greg's body language.
Every hand in poker is a learning experience, and here we have Greg, who is new to the table, and you can see that he is very tense, he's very stoic, and that's probably one of the best ways to hide your tells, is by not being observable, by hiding in the open, by just not moving and not expressing any emotions on the face.
I'm hoping Joe Navarro took a pay cut from last year. Hiding in the open. That's Jimbo Jambo to me.
And it earns Milliron the pot. Under 1,000 players now in the main event. At an outer table of past champs all in. 95 main event winner Dan Harrington put his last 14 big blinds to work with Queen 5. Russell Thomas with ace deuce trying to score the knockout.
The great Dan Harrington was running low and made a move.
No immediate help to Dan on the flop.
Thomas, a 24-year-old actuary from Hartford, Connecticut.
Harrington picks up a two-way straight draw.
And Harrington now with 14 outs to stick around.
The river card. Another 4. Russell Thomas scores the knockout. I hate announcing a Dan Harrington elimination, Norman.
Yeah, one of the most decorated main event competitors of all time is out of here.
Hall of Famer says goodbye. Russell Thomas gets a nice boost to his stack here on day 3 of the 2012 main event. P.S. Hines is the 2011 world champion. They sang his name when he won the main event, and this year they are wearing his trademark white hoodie. It seems that in the Amazon room and beyond, no matter where you look, players are wearing the same sweatshirt.
I guess it could be worse. Martin Stashko could have won.
Hines was eliminated earlier here on day 3, failing to make the money in his bid for back-to-back titles. As the numbers dwindle, the players inch closer to making the money. Let's check in with Robert Peltecki, a.k.a. Robbie Diamonds, who has a slightly above average stack.
He's also in the white hoodie, but he's wearing zirconium-studded black underwear.
Daniel Rudd doesn't quite have the white hoodie, but he does have a top 10 chip stack.
And Rudd looking for his second main event cash in 4 years.
Gaelle Baumann was the day 3 headliner to start, but has not gained much traction today.
Maybe she should switch to a white hoodie.
And as we go back to the secondary table, we check back in with Jason Somerville, who has nearly doubled his stack on day 3. Action has been folded to Somerville. Jason with a weak ace, ace-6, and he'll raise it up to 8,000.
The hoodies, by the way, remind me of the fashion issue in poker. I believe you play to win, you think to win, and you dress to win. Too many of these guys are dressed to watch infomercials all day. Let's step it up and look professional.
Can I get an amen?
You see those?
8.
I saw something there.
I was looking down, but they kind of flashed up, but I honestly didn't see what they were.
Just when you keep them low, because that whole side of the
We're
table.
asking Kevin Song to fold his cards a little lower.
I got pocket aces. I marked it. Okay.
Dentale with Jack Tray of diamonds.
They get cracked.
And he will defend his big blind with 4,000 more chips in the middle. And go heads up with Jason Somerville. 8-8 Jack. Dentale takes the lead with jacks up. He checks. Somerville bets 10,005.
Now see, if this were the Jack Link's wild card hand, I'd never put Jason Somerville on ace-6 off when he bets this flop.
Well, Dentale is not frightened off. He makes the call.
Yeah, he's content to come along with 2 pair against Jason.
Turn card, deuce of diamonds. Dentale adds a flush draw. He checks again. Jason checks. River card, another jack. Dentale improves to a full boat.
Good.
He checks again.
Dentale hoping to induce Jason into a bluff here.
Often that happens. 5,500. Jason can kiss that so long.
5,500? What is that? Why didn't Jason just bet the lint out of his left pocket?
A raise to 15 straight from Dentale.
Pretty small raise from the Brooklynite.
Jason's got the big stack here. And he calls for 9,500 more, and we'll see that his chips are going elsewhere.
Well, Jason thought ace high was good. Jason was wrong.
It's good. I would have just called 15,000, so I don't feel so bad, you know? If you had just bet 15, I would have just called it, so nice check.
Thank you.
So Michael Dentale gets Jason Somerville to pay off that small check raise. The 42-year-old Dentale lives in Brooklyn. He attended Brooklyn College. His nickname is Mikey Unbelievable, and says his favorite hand is pocket jacks, which is really unbelievable.
Well, he's a World Series of Poker circuit grinder. He mainly plays on the East Coast because I think that's where Brooklyn is.
All right, so we're going to keep it here at this secondary feature table. Dentale has raised it up to 8,500 with suited 8-7. Jason Somerville in the big blind with Jack 5 calls.
Well, the previous hand we saw them play, Somerville had min raised and Dentale came in from the big blind, and now almost the shoe's on the other foot here.
Here's the flop. Jack deuce 8. Jason with the jack this time catches top pair. He checks to the razor. Dentale with middle pair. That's 10,000.
Well, the roles are reversed here. Jason this time content to sit back and let Dentale take the betting lead.
And there's the call from Somerville.
How to see a turn.
And the turn card is good to Dentale. He picks up a straight flush draw. Jason checks his best hand, the jacks.
Jason with a small ball clinic. See flops for cheap. Exercise pot control. It's all in my book.
Dentale says, how about 20,000 this time?
Well, as you mentioned, that was a big turn card for Dentale. He already had a pair of 8s, and now he's picked up a straight flush draw.
Jason just with the call there, and they'll see a river card. River card, 4 of spades, a blank. Jason's hand is best.
4 of spades. That's a stupid card.
What a beautiful hand gone down the tubes. I check.
I have a jack.
Dentale checks back.
Jack is good.
And he will watch Jason Somerville stack the chips.
I'll show you because the cameras are going to see it anyway.
That's how good I run. Completely dodged.
7, 8, 9 heart. Must be nice.
Jason Somerville dodged a lot of outs there and gets his big stack moving in the right direction once again. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Brian Hastings took down the $10,000 heads-up tournament and his first gold bracelet.
I feel great. I'd feel a little bit better if the cash games had been going better beforehand, but now we're getting close to even, so it's a good little middle to the summer, and hopefully we'll continue to run good and run it up.
And in the $1,500 limit hold'em event, amateur David Arsht won his first piece of jewelry and over $200 grand.
I came back yesterday morning with $4,100 and just hoped to get lucky, and I got lucky, and it's the old chip in a chair adage, you know, and I feel real good about it. You know, I don't ever give up.
Hastings and Arsht won 2 of the 60 bracelets already given out. The last one given away in Las Vegas is, of course, the main event bracelet. The 6,598 main event entries came from 83 different countries, and the average age of those players nearly 38.
And we should note at this year's World Series, we miss Amarillo Slim Preston and celebrate the memory of the 1972 world champ. The original poker icon passed away in April at age 83.
Michael Dentale with pocket deuces under the gun +1, limps in for 4,000.
One of my favorite lines from Slim, he used to say the population of Amarillo hasn't changed in 50 years because every time some woman gets pregnant, some man leaves town. What a character.
All right, fold it around to seat number 1, Cameron Somsky. Somsky looks down at 9-6 off, and I think that's a fold waiting to happen. Yep, to Somerville now. He calls with Queen 5 of clubs.
Slim was the original poker boom, a bunch of appearances on The Tonight Show, 4 World Series bracelets, an incredible hustler.
Fold it over to the small blind, Michael Yasser Azad with pocket jacks.
46-year-old Iranian-born amateur from Atlanta.
Come on, man.
Well, everybody was limping until it got to Michael. But with the jacks, he wants to raise to 19,000.
19,000 total.
That's what I raised.
He could go out and go back again and do 2 motions?
No, that's how I raised. I didn't say anything.
So you can't go back?
It's going to be up to him. Yeah.
No, but he went back for another 5. He went out?
No, I didn't go back.
But just hear me out. The chips hit the felt, and he came back and grabbed the 5 and went back out.
No, I didn't grab any 5s.
That's exactly what happened.
I didn't grab.
I think came out with the... But I mean,
no, there was a 5 already in my hand.
No, I understand, but you didn't say the amount. You said raise.
Yeah.
And you did 2 motions. You went here, went back, and then went forward again.
What do you think
you're trying to do? I
don't care what he's going. I don't care what he's going to do. I'm just saying what happened. So it don't matter release. It's not about a release. He touched a felt.
I'm not.
Right, but I'm asking you. Just tell me if this is correct, and we'll move on.
If you don't let go, you can do anything you want to do. You can go like this and then fold.
You could go up front, touch the felt.
There's no forward motion rule here.
Okay, then let's go.
Dentale a little prickly about that one.
He makes the call. He was thinking that Michael might have made a string raise. Somerville now has the action. And he will call for 15,000 more.
Jason with an optimistic call there. Queen 5.
All right, 3-way action. Flop. 5 jack tray. Michael with a set of jacks. Pair of 5s for Somerville. Dentale left with his deuces, a small bet of 13,000. Dentale makes the call.
Don't really understand that call.
And with his pair of 5s, Somerville will come along.
Kind of understand that call.
Turn card now is a deuce. That will keep Dentale around with bottom set, but it could be painful.
Boy, that looked like a check to me. He might not have meant to, but he tapped the table. If Dentale saw that, he would have called the Warren Commission in.
Well, he goes for chips, 20,000, another small bet.
Dentale is happy with his set of deuces.
And Dentale comes out with a raise to 80,000.
All right.
Somerville gives up his hand, so now back to Michael Yasser Assad.
I'm all in.
All in.
All in. Is this a nice setup? Put out the 80, tell me what he has. Unreal.
Dentale would need almost 150,000 to make the call.
How much is it? Another 100?
He's got...
Yeah, it would be almost half his stack he'd have to call off. Tough to call, tough to fold.
He does make the call. Dentale sees the bad news.
Just amazing. Just amazing, amazing how I got to get cooler in this game. Amazing.
Yeah, an ugly sight for Michael Dentale. He's dead to the last deuce in the deck.
Amazing.
Set over set.
I can't even see
One
it.
card to come. Dentale looking for a miracle, doesn't get it. Michael Yasser Assad will get the double up.
And it's a big double up, while Michael Dentale takes a big hit.
So Dentale's main event hopes shrink with the loss of that hand, doubling up Michael Yasser Assad to over 558,000.
I didn't want to see that river card. It's been hitting so bad.
Dentale down to about 182,000. He had bad feelings about that hand from the get-go. Yasser Assad scored the double up, and it cost Dentale 60% of his chips.
Is this a nice setup? Just amazing. Just amazing. Unreal.
Welcome back to day 3 of the World Series of Poker. We finally have our first player to cross the million chip threshold. David D'Alessandro is the chip leader with 1,073,000 chips.
The New Jersey pro has 4 small cashes at this World Series, hoping for one large cash here at the main event for $8.5 million.
There you see some big names who have hit the rail at an outer table. Action on Ben Alcober in the black shirt at the top of your screen. He has King 8 of diamonds. Henry Tran raised with Trey Deuce.
Play me, man. Can we be friends? Would you like to play? Ton of chip, man. You don't need to play. It's the last couple of hands. You want to what? You want to try to give me some chip?
You got one more play in your hand now.
Alcober with a re-raise.
Tran talked Alcober into a re-raise. To review, Tran at the moment has 3 of clubs, 2 of hearts. If we were playing reverse hold'em, I think that's a top 10 starting hand.
Reverse hold'em, I like it. Now Tran is not going away. He 4-bets it to 43,000.
Yeah, this is the new world of poker. Shootout at the OK Corral, and no one has a gun in his holster. Some of you might recall Tran from last year's main event. He was at the feature table with Daniel Negreanu.
Alcober calls for 18,000 more, and look at the size of that pot, almost 95,000 pre-flop. All right, the flop. 9-4-7, that is pretty ugly. No pairs, no draws.
Alcober with a big stack, and he got it playing this type of game.
King 8 versus Trey Deuce. Alcober bets 32,000.
Wow, Lon, they just don't stop.
No.
You know, when you lose all your chips, they don't give you any more.
And here is another raise from Tran to 65,000. This is getting ridiculous.
They both start with rag hands. They both miss the flop, and they both bet like they've got the nuts.
And there's a call from Ben Alcober.
And that call prompts an ushka look from Tran.
All right, turn card now. Another 9 that may allow them to rest their egos for a spell.
No, I believe we could see 2 flops, 2 turns, and 2 rivers, and neither of these guys would have a hand.
A check finally from Alcober. Tran likewise.
Wow, they ran out of unbridled moxie.
A deuce of diamonds.
Oh, deuce.
Tran with the smallest of pairs.
Tran rivered the nuts.
The best hand.
He rivered the nuts, Lon. A pair of deuces never loses.
Alcober now with just king high.
Wow, here he comes again with a ton of heart.
165,000. And what do you do if you're Henry Tran?
If I win, I only show this hand if I win. My hand not win, and I'm not going to show this hand.
If I'm ever in a car and either of these guys is driving, I'm jumping out of the passenger side door.
Six hand. How much was that?
Tran is really thinking about this.
Well, even if Tran's instincts tell him Alcoba is bluffing, this is an enormous risk to be right. This would be for almost 2/3 of Tran's remaining stack.
Tran cutting out the chips to call. He does call.
What a call.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I'm king high.
King high for Ben.
Oh, wait. Okay, TV show bit.
No good. Look at Peltecki on the left.
That's why I said eat with. No. See up over here.
Lon, that hand just advanced or regressed poker 50 years.
94,000 pre-flop in the pot. Over a $500,000 when the dust settled.
Do that. I can see through his hand. That's the call. Very good eye. Very good eye. That's the beauty of this game. That's why I said it's sick game. It's sick game.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is poker. Back of the feature table, Lance Keating open raise to 9,000 with ace-king. Kevin Pollak in the big blind holds king 10 of clubs.
By the way, if Kevin Pollak has a really good penguin joke, this would be a great time for it.
He already has chips invested in the pot, and he will come along with a call. 5,000 more. All right, here's the flop. 8-5-7 all hearts. Pollak comes up empty. Keating with a big advantage with a nut flush draw and ace high.
Keating, the 37-year-old semi-pro from Indiana. And it looks like Pollak is going to borrow on his tight reputation here.
He leads out 12,500. And all in from Lance Keating.
Take that, funny man.
Wow.
Keating says, let's go. And I imagine Pollak will say, let's not.
Don't do it to me, Kevin.
He's not going to.
There is the fold. Keating will take it with the aggressive action.
And that's payback for the polar bear joke.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. So Kevin Pollak took a flyer from the big blind and came up empty. It happens. We'll wrap up day 3 of the 2012 main event in a moment. On display near the feature table, this year's championship bracelet, more blinged out than ever with a retail price of $150 grand.
What do you mean a retail price of $150 grand? There are stores selling the 2012 main event bracelet right now?
You were in the whole 9 yards. Jimmy Tedeschi.
Yanni Gogolak.
Yanni Gogolak, that's what I remember.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I grew up in Chicago area, that's what I remember.
Kevin played the character Yanni Gogolak in the film The Whole 9 Yards, which took place in Chicago. Action here at the feature table on Mill Iron. He folds.
All right, now it clicks. I love that movie. I love that, and I love you in that movie.
This move here, in the beginning, my father was a great man.
Thomas Chischin with King Queen in the small blind. A raise to 8,000. Pollak 7-4 suited comes along. Chischin and Pollak will see a flop. King 7, King trips for Chischin. Pollak pairs his 7.
10,000.
Chischin bets 10,000.
Mr. Hollywood flopped 2 pair and is drawing almost dead. I would remind Kevin Pollak of something right now, but he already knows it. Stand-up comedy is hard. The main event is harder.
Pollak with a raise to 23,000. Oops.
Boy, Kevin's picked the wrong time to turn to Clint Eastwood. Chischin, a computer engineer, might have more non-consecutive Z's in his last name than anyone west of the Mississippi.
And there's a re-raise all in to over 83,000.
I'm afraid of that. Made you guys fat before the end of the night. That's no good.
Stand-up comedy is hard. The main event is harder.
I don't think there's a real good chance you hit air on that flop.
Would the computer engineer bluff shove late on day 3 of the main event?
With the money bubble coming.
It's a hero call if I make it and I'm right. Oh my God, it's a hero call.
Hero calls are for the movies, Kevin. Muck it.
I'm wrong, I'm just the biggest stupid ass ever.
No, you'd still be the second biggest, whatever you just said behind me.
Anguished is Kevin Pollak.
All night I've been showing.
That was an entertaining fold. Of course, he could have made it a little sooner.
Chischin will take the pot. Will he show?
Show a deuce.
Kevin wants him to. Nope.
I had him.
You didn't.
I had him.
You didn't.
Ah. Ah. I knew it. No, we didn't show. Everybody at home knows I hit the 7.
So the book is now closed on day 3, and while Pollock's survival is a big story, so is David D'Alessandro's. He's chip leader at 1.1 million.
If you're over $1 million, you should get 2 Ziploc bags.
D'Alessandro followed by Sean Rice. JJ Lowo sits in 6th. Vanessa Selbst has cracked the top 10. 720 players remain. Here is D'Alessandro with a recap of his day 3.
It's been unbelievable. I started the day with like 140, and then within 20 minutes I'm up to 350, and then won a pretty big flip, had 550 for like the rest of the day, and then the last 20 minutes I took out 3 people.
Day 3, boys. Main event day 3 started with optimism.
That's it, we're playing poker? World Series of Poker main event?
Over 1,000 players found their way to the exit, leaving 720 staring at the next big task, making the money. Kevin Pollock has an average stack with the stress mounting.
It's a hero call if I make it and I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm just the biggest stupid ass ever.
Antonio Esfandiari, Daniel Negreanu, and Vanessa Selbst are on to day 4.
It's been a fun table tonight. We had some high moments and some low moments, like when that called me to 2-7. That was definitely a low moment.
For Norman Chad and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.